What up, everybody? Welcome to the IAG Thursday thing, this thing that we do every Thursday. We try, okay? We've been doing pretty good about it lately. Uh, it's postseason now, post crazy season, going into crazy sale season. I can't confirm nor deny that there is going to be a Black Friday sale, but by the time this goes up, I have a feeling we're going to be confirming or denying that. What I can tell you is if you're smart, you would be calling me the Monday before Black Friday. I don't know why. Maybe you just want to listen to my voice. That's it. Either way, we're all having a good time here. What we want to talk about today is we had a hell of a season. And for the first time in the history of ever, we got told we had the most reliable car in Street Mod, which is insane. So, to have this conversation, usually we would have Warranty here. He's off doing his own thing. We do have Producer Jordan here. Producer Jordan, what's up, buddy?
Not much, Dewey. Just taking the time to get my shop ready and work in order since it's hasn't been used in the last 5-6 months. Getting ready for build season.
It happens. Uh,
Yeah.
Anthony took a killer picture of. Actually, I'm going to shout that out in a second. Randy made a nice thumbnail from a picture Anthony took. We'll talk about that picture here in a second because that leads me into a lot of stuff. Randy was pissed again because the picture wasn't square, and Randy gets aggravated when we don't put shit in the correct format. But I love you, Randy. Thank you for your extra work in making that work. So pissed. And then Alessandra would be really pissed if I didn't shout her out, so I'm shouting her out too because she's awesome. Yeah, but joining us this week, we have the rest of, let's call it immediate Team Boogeyman on. We're joined by Dylan and Forklift. What's up, guys? They can't see you. You got to talk. We're the only people who can see you.
No, certain people can see us.
Yeah, the live people can see us, but you got to make sure you enunciate.
Words.
Say something,
This
Forklift.
is my first time, and I have no idea what I'm doing.
That's it. You're doing great.
He's still learning.
And then we also have Graham, Boosted Performance Tuning, the tuner of this insanity. Last second, I was like, Graham, you should come on for this too, because I got a feeling we're going to be talking about all sorts of stuff. And you were a massive part of this season, especially the development that went into your car, that also went into our car, and we all learned a lot together. And really what I want to talk about this week is how we kind of made this happen. Okay, so I want to start by Anthony took this picture. Well, first off, I was like, I'm like, Dylan, we need a picture where we're that we can use for this thumbnail. And then he's like, I think I'm just going to put all the trophies in front of the car. And I'm like, I mean, we kind of already did that, I guess. And so I'm like, yeah, I guess that'll work. So he went and had Anthony take this, like a nice picture of this. And you don't really realize it till they're all there. Dude, we went to a shitload of events this year. And at every single event, we drove the car back on the trailer.
Eight events to be specific.
8 events with 5 wins. Yeah. Yeah, that many. God, you were gonna be so annoying today.
No, dude, you cannot put Forklift and I in the same podcast or room and not expect us to be just off the rails.
But that's 5 wins in 3 seconds, dude. And every single time the car drove back on the trailer. Which is insane. Absolutely insane. So what I want to talk about, because that really put shit into perspective. I'm like, holy shit. This season seemed like it took a long time. And we did a lot of events. But like, we came home with hardware and everything. So what we need, really what I wanted this kind of to be was a season recap, but I wanted it to be more of a season recap of what happened in the background. Okay. So
A lot happened in the background, especially because I feel like it was just yesterday that we did the season recap for 2023, and it was like this long, just like how awesome everything was and how everything kind of sucked. But there was a lot of stuff that happened in the background of this event that we didn't talk about. A
So
lot of things that were unseen, and a lot of things that went well, and some things that didn't.
so let's be real. 24 was hard. That had everybody in this chat questioning what they're doing with their life, except maybe Forklift, who wasn't around. You missed the whole dude. We were in. We came out of 24 really wondering.
Yeah, I mean, we went into 24 really wondering.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we went into 24 as a rebuild, okay? We knew it was going to take us a bit to get up to speed. And then I felt like right when we started to get something figured out, something would punch us in the face. And it was some random shit. The trans kept dying on us, okay? We had a cam gear fail and take the engine out of like left field. Then power steering decided to shit the bed on us for no apparent reason. Like it was just, and then just getting there was hell. Like, we ended up missing events and all sorts of crap. It was rough. It was a rough season.
I started here mid-season last year, and no one seemed happy.
You know why? Because nobody was happy.
Nobody was happy. I remember trying to Graham forcefully tuned it last year at Midwest Fest after we were still assembling the car in the pits.
Yeah, we did some stuff and some things. We made it work.
Plus keys and some minus keys.
Using the plus key to turn laps faster.
On all three cylinders.
So, I mean, we also learned a lot
like that
season. You know what I mean? So I think one of the big things that I brought from 24 into 2025 was kind of slowing the roll and just looking at the whole situation as a whole and don't make it any knee-jerk reactions. And I think there was a lot of times where we wanted to do something and I was always hesitant to do anything because I wanted to be sure that was the right answer this year.
And I may have fucked that up a couple times, and we will talk about that coming up. But also going into 25, we kind of got a directive from the top that was like, we can't have 24 again. Like 24 was a disaster. It wasn't so much a situation of if you guys don't win, you're done. But it was you guys can't have this constant disaster happening. And that's really what 24 was just a constant rolling disaster with no results to show for it. So we had stuff to prove, okay? So going into 25, first thing that happened coming out of 24, let's just start with that. Immediately before CMP or we even decided to go, was in Grid Life's ear about a sequential gear set is not a sequential gear box, okay? And I'd been bugging him for like half the season, but I'm like, I need you guys to give me some sort of directive on this. And I wanted that by PRI because I wanted to go talk to some of these companies about, look, like, I want to try to work a relationship, see what we could get together. I wanted to be there looking at different sequential boxes, see what the situation was. And so a bunch of different companies had these gear sets there, usually to mess with, and I wanted to see what they had. And like, there still wasn't an answer to that. So so either way, I didn't get shit back from Grid Life until after first of the year. So that was, we were trying to figure out what we were going to do. We couldn't even get that ball rolling till then. And yes, I talk with my hands a lot. Do I need to actually like turn the camera off?
No, we're keeping ourselves entertained over here.
Okay. So either way,
sorry.
I hate you guys. So I know this is something Graham had been waiting for too. Graham had been hyped. He'd been wanting to put a sequential in his car since fucking like 18. But didn't want to kick himself into a different class. So we finally got directive that they agreed. As long as we put it in an OEM housing, it's close enough. So gear set and OEM housing, that opened up a ton of options. So we finally got that on order, but we were still a ways out, and we had a lot of stuff we still needed to figure out. To start the season, we still had bouncing in the rear. Okay, we still had things we had to sort. We still had bouncing in the rear. I'm trying to think of what were some of the things that we changed or messed with at CMP just to start out with, because we had a couple of small changes.
I mean, we found out pretty quickly that the power steering pump we were using was mad.
That was the big one, because we were on a normal mechanical style power steering pump last year, and then we thought that was the problem. We replaced the rack and then also put in a Volvo power steering pump, and that did not work.
Which I want to go on the record and say, I don't know how many times I said it's probably the steering rack.
Hey, he's right.
It was probably the steering rack. So we ended up replacing the steering rack, I think, after CMP because we were still having issues. But the Volvo pump just also couldn't keep up, and we had suspected some overheating. So you had also gone to the store and got this sweet, like $50 trans cooler that I rigged up in the rear of the car.
It's huge.
As a power steering, and it's still there to this day. It works great.
Yep. Yeah, it's this giant it's this giant ass. It was the biggest power steering or trans cooler that they had, which it worked great, and it was like $50 from this shit auto parts store near CMP. So we went to CMP. We weren't even planning on going to CMP. We didn't even purchase tickets to CMP till like 2 days before. So like what we used CMP for was a shakedown, and I swear to God, I am so happy. I am so happy we went to that event, even though it was a mess.
Yeah, Forklift's bringing up a point is there also something behind the scenes was on my way down to CMP, the trailer just started dying on us.
Oh yeah.
And I lost a tire, and it was me getting in late when I had left on decent time, but stuff on the freeway happens.
I forgot all about that. This is one of those background things I was talking about.
Yeah, so no one expects, I mean, a weekend wrenching on the car and time attacking and everything. I mean, if you have a good weekend, it's still very tiring, but the second you start having issues is when it becomes exhausting. So getting to CMP was tiring, and I met you there. And then I think the second night we were there, we were doing the trans swap because we ate
third
or fourth gear.
Yeah.
And it was cold that night. It got cold. I wasn't expecting it to be that cold. I mean, I think that when we were doing the trans swap, when I was finishing everything up, I had like 3 or 4 sweatshirts on just to try to stay warm and stay moving.
We also missed the best Grid Life concert they had all year.
There's a rave going on behind you as you're doing it.
Yeah, there was. Yeah. The Forklift missed it too. He wasn't there at all, but it was luckily we got to listen to a lot of it, and I'm still convinced it was the best show this year. I hope they bring that DJ back because he was really good.
It was emo night, so it was a DJ playing emo music and like mixing emo music. It was awesome. I pray that guy comes back. I want to go and enjoy that so bad.
Yeah, so I mean, we really we also learned how to count that weekend. Dewey couldn't figure out how many laps this was.
Hey, no. Okay,
no,
so
it was really fun. It was kind of messed up in hindsight,
Podium sprint. What they told me, what they said was not what they were trying to, how they explained it was so stupid. What they said was green checker. Okay. Like, and if
We
you,
have it on video too.
yeah, I have this blatantly on video. So I'm trying to ask, I'm like, do I get 2 hot laps or 3 hot laps? And like, they didn't even know how to answer it. They said 2. Yeah, and there's like 2, 3, 3, 2. Yeah. But it was, they said it like, I have them basically saying I get 2 hot laps. And I gotta be real, I don't think a 3rd hot lap was gonna help us. But I
No.
was really annoyed. And
Yeah.
other people were confused too. Thankfully that got sorted out, but CMP was supposed to just be a it was supposed to be a you know, a test and
And it
like a
was.
shakedown.
It
And we
tested
learned a
some
lot.
things.
The car was still hopping. We messed with some suspension stuff, sorted some of it out, but what we ended up um we learned a lot in a very short period of time from that. We also tried a new set of tires. Okay. Now, what I will say, and Dylan hates these damn tires, is they actually felt pretty good, but I couldn't really tell because I didn't have power steering. I didn't know how to really play with it. Okay. I think with power steering, I think we could have beat Ryan there. I don't think we would have, I think it would have been a war, but I think we could have
It
beat
was
Ryan there.
it was also our first time there.
Mm-hmm. We had no
So
idea. I don't know what that track was supposed to feel like. So,
yeah, and
no
the
power
first
steering,
event of
new
the season.
tires, first event of the season. We didn't know what we were getting into.
Yeah, you never really know. And so, coming into second place, I kind of counted that as a victory. You know what I mean? I wasn't expecting to win. I wasn't expecting to drive the car into the trailer. The
We were
engine was still in the car from the previous year.
we were even contemplating after the trans went, just saying screw it and go home. Like we were close.
It was close.
Yeah.
It was very close.
Because we had nothing.
Um,
There was nothing on the table there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I mean, that event ended up being very good. I mean, in hindsight situation, I think we have a good plan of attack for next year if we do CMP. I do want to go back. The vibes were really great. The track was really great. I think we have a better plan of attack if we do go back. And we learned a lot there. It eats tires, eats brakes. One of the things that I started doing at CMP at the beginning of the year was pre-race and post-race notes. So we started sharing an Excel sheet, whether it was like packing stuff in the trailer with
Mhm.
Forklift, who was a huge lift, to what I set the suspension up as, and then if I made any changes at the track, I would change them. And so there's notes for a whole season of pre and post race stuff. So I think we'll have a good idea what we can do at CMP next year. So leaving that event, I mean,
We
it
learned
kind of sucked, but
it sucked getting there. The trailer was a disaster. It sucked getting back. The trailer was a disaster. And anybody who's been in our trailer before knows how much of a disaster our old trailer was because we had no shelving or anything. The plan was to add shelving and it never got added. And the trailer itself was just old and beat. Like she was done. So when we came back from CMP, the old trailer got retired. Thankfully, JJ was like, "Hey, you guys can use the other trailer," which was funny that it got referred to as the shit trailer, and it was like this giant upgrade for us. It's longer, so we have more space. It's got shelving. The plugs work in it.
It has AC.
It's got AC. It's great. Like that trailer, giant upgrade. We were so hyped. So that was huge. So Forklift, if I remember right, because I wasn't there at the time, you were kind of like the mastermind of bringing everything from the old trailer to the new trailer and organizing it correctly. This was massive, and we cannot put enough emphasis on how big of a deal your labeling of everything was in bringing shit over correctly and packing it in a way that was usable.
yeah, I mean, he labeled the RV, so I didn't lose the RV as well. So yeah, I mean, I kind of, Forklift coming onto the program, I kind of gave him a pitch of like how everything worked, what we look for, what we use, what's common, some of the ideas I had. And then, I mean, he just kind of ran with it.
Yep.
And I mean, he ended up not only packing everything for Atlanta, but then also came to Atlanta with us.
Yep.
That was sick.
So a lot happened. This is where shit starts getting crazy. Graham gets brought into a lot of this. A lot happened between CMP and Road Atlanta, though. Road Atlanta was always going to be what we thought was our first event. CMP was like this bonus for us. But things were just kind of ready to go, so why wouldn't we? Road Atlanta was kind of a shit show. Let's just be real. Getting to Road Atlanta was a shit show, but between CMP and Road Atlanta, we have already ate this trans. Okay. And so we had our spare in there. We needed to build during that time period, the sequential gear set came in. So Dylan had to learn how to build a sequential.
Yeah, basically 2 weeks before the event.
Yes.
I had a front diff, a new front diff, and a sequential gear set. And so the guys at Six Star Motorsports was they were building Grams at the same time. So we were kind of piggybacking things off of one another and sharing experience there. The installation instructions were filmed with a 1999 Potato.
Yep.
So trying to see anything was pretty hard, but it turned out being pretty good. It's treated us well all season. It didn't have to come back out, but I mean, it was a stressful 2 weeks of getting the transmission built and in the car and broken in, and then also linking up with Graham for tuning with all that stuff going in there. Because I believe, and I could be wrong, but I think ours was in the car and done first because Graham was going through like a whole build, engine, everything else. So we were ready to go as far as trans tuning went, and that's also when the deer ran in front of the car in the middle of the night and decided to blow the windshield.
Well, a lot happened. Something else happened during that time period too. Did we get the trailing arms during that time from TSS Fab?
Yep.
Okay, so TSS Fab, I'd been having conversations with him about to correct we had some goofy geometry going on in the rear due to drop knuckles and other stuff. What ended up happening is we had this really, really crazy shock angle in the rear where it's basically pushing the rear wheels forward. And it was really messing with our geometry. And again, due to drop knuckles and stuff like that. So he sent us some extended trailing arms, and it allowed us to put that back in a proper area. So it wasn't adding a bunch of really crazy anti-squat, and it was hard for the shocks themselves to actually control that motion. So that helped a ton. God, can't thank them enough. That was huge on their part. And then Graham, so not only that have to go in, we had to completely change our alignment. Okay. Then you had to put in the sequential, and we had to tune this diff, and the arguments that came from this diff from lots of different angles who did not want to like agree with how we went about tuning this differential. Okay. Oh my God. And I tell you what, dude, you'd never built a sequential, and you've never messed with a diff as far as how that goes.
Front diff. Yeah.
And I think you nailed it. All right. So the front of this car feels insane now. Just these changes that were made. The front of the car feels insane. Graham, we got this in. Graham was already working on tuning the sequential on his car. How much of that did you already have done, Graham? Like that, I know you already had kind of a base to mess with because you've tuned, other sequentials on M-Trons and stuff like that. But how much was like starting fresh, or was that with Boogie? Like, cause I feel like you got it nailed really quick.
Yeah, it was definitely a big undertaking. I had done some paddle shift stuff. I'd done some sequential. I've done a lot of like H pattern, flat foot shift tuning. So like I had some pieces put together, but not like a complete, sequential with gear position, like exactly what we were doing. I'd never done exactly like that. So basically kind of combined everything I knew, had a long conversation with Nick from Mtron. He gave me a handful of different examples to consider. And I just kind of looked it all over, considered how it all works, and came up with a starting point. And at this point, I had just gotten my car back from Six Star, so I could actually drive it and test it. Because the thing about tuning a sequential over the internet is it's very difficult if you can't feel it. You
Yep.
can certainly try to, I talked to Dylan. I'm like, well, what do you think? Did that seem like it shifted smooth or not smooth, or what do you think?
How do you know?
Until you are sitting in the car and driving it and going up and down with the timings and the amount of the cut, you don't know what it needs. It's a feel thing. The data can show you quite a bit, but you have to feel it. So
Yeah, so that leads to the windshield being blown out.
Yes.
yeah,
Because Dewey looked at me the first time you had told us to go test a 2-3 shift. And so again, the whole feel thing, like I have driven sequentials
I
before,
haven't.
and Dewey hadn't. And so Dewey's like, dude, you got to drive because you got to telegram what's up. And I'm like, sick. This is like literally the 2 days before we need to leave for Atlanta. And so we've already talked about the story, so I won't go into detail, but the first time I ever grabbed 2-3 in this car, we were at 100 miles an hour and we had forgotten to latch the hood, and that didn't turn out great. So it felt great, but the glass in the eye didn't.
So they literally, I gotta put this out here. He goes to pull this lever, and the perfect timing of when the gear would have actually hit and the windshield hitting the windshield was dead on. So he thought he blew this car to pieces. He thought the engine went. He thought the trans blew up. He's freaking out. He's looking at me like, what the fuck? And I'm like, dude, it's the hood. It's the hood. And it took him forever to register until he looks forward and realizes he can't see where the fuck he's going. So, oh my God, dude,
I remember that night. That was like the first time we were kind of testing the strategy. And I'm sitting there amped, wanting to know how it's going. I'm like, dude, did you guys do it? Did you make a shift? Did you make a shift? And then I get a picture, I think, or something. And
the car back in the show.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Well, because
like, moments later, I was like, yeah, this is par for the course.
So what happened was
to go back to the timing of it all. Yeah, it all, I was like, it was all very close. Mine came in just a little bit ahead, or I think, and that the Six Star got it in there just in time. So it was like, I really need to drive this and test this and make sure everything's good. And then I started testing new things on your car on the track, taking that, putting it back on mine, testing it. We went back and forth, but pretty much by mid-Ohio, I stopped touching the transmission shifting. It's been absolutely perfect. Very fast, very smooth, very consistent. Other than the darn, what the load cell.
Yeah, we'll talk. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that.
My God.
I want to talk.
Are you sure you were driving your car while we were driving to Atlanta and you were figuring more out?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Because you were sending us updates as we're driving to Atlanta.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So that was really, Atlanta was some good shakedown. The next event was what? That was Gingerman, I think, right?
So let's get through Atlanta, because a lot happened to Atlanta. So that was the first time we had the sequential in the car. We had somebody like this local guy in Baltimore, because we couldn't find this windshield anywhere, managed to not only find the windshield, but tell everybody else on his schedule to fuck off. Came out and threw this windshield in for us for a stupid price. Like, incredible. The dude just kicked ass, saved our ass. We managed to get a windshield in the car, got the car together, got out the door, with really never having we learned one more thing, because you needed me to go drive the thing to know what a fucking sequential even feels like. Okay. So I go out and we find out that because I don't know how hard I'm supposed to pull this, that I am gorilla shifting this damn thing, and I literally ripped the mount for the shifter right out. So I come in, I'm like, I don't think the trans is hurt. I think the shifter's hurt. He's like, what do you mean? Then he looks at it, and I literally like ripped the shifter right the fuck out.
That
was my first time going for a ride in that car ever.
It's with you. Yeah, we're like, let's go for a ride to like test this out, and yeah, what a disaster.
That was minutes before loading it to go to Atlanta.
Yeah, we were supposed to leave, and we ended up having to call. Who did we call that night to come in and cut us a plate?
Josh.
Yeah,
Josh came in and cut some stuff for me.
Now, this whole time, I also want to put in there, one, we're getting told from multiple sides that you guys are going to blow this trans up left and right because it's going to take forever to figure this out. I'm not going to mention any names and who said that, okay? But we were getting told that this trans was going to blow up and you know, you need to get yourself like a real motorsports tuner to do this because, you know, they weren't very confident in Graham's skills. Yeah, Graham's still learning.
Guys.
Okay. And then we were also told from a different angle that the brand of transmission was a complete piece of shit and was the first second we went to use it, it was gonna blow to pieces. And they were highly disappointed in the parts that we selected. And they were just completely disappointed in how we were going about this, that we're just using nothing but junk. The trans was shit. The Turbo Smart electronic wastegate that we weren't running yet, but Graham was shit. And everything was awful, okay? And we were a disgrace to the community in whatever we were doing. Like, these were harsh emails that Graham and I were getting on the side, too. And then, you know, from the other side, we were getting, this thing's gonna blow up left and right because Graham doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. We were getting this all over the place. I want to make sure that that's out there, that we were getting criticism, and before anything even happened, we were getting told we were fucked. I'm sure you remember that, Graham.
I do, yeah. Oh, it's always my favorite thing when people doubt us and then we deliver results that they've only dreamed of and have failed at miserably in their past.
So
Still learning.
We go to Road Atlanta, and Road Atlanta was a disaster. Okay, as an event. I mean, no offense to Grid Life, just as an event, they had to cram so much in such a short period of time because they were there with Formula D, and it was the first time that they had ran an event in this format, and it was crazy. They were still trying to figure out licensing and all sorts of stuff.
Not only that, but weather was at play too. So the way that the event rolled out was, you know, we were done by noon essentially, or done by 1 p.m.
Yeah, it was like 1, yeah.
And then, so we had to fit 3 run sessions into morning, which typically is an all-day thing, and I am very fortunate that Forklift did come to this event, and I told him it would be kind of chaotic because I was able to kind of point and shoot and be like, hey, you know, we get to do fluids, we get to do this, X, Y, and Z, this has to happen, and it was, I mean, one after another. It was like, I mean, dude, it was like he'd been there the whole time. He picked up pretty quickly, so we were able to get on track a whole bunch, but then we were kind of dealing with a potential boost leak.
So, well, yeah, so you were trying to figure out what you thought was a boost leak, okay?
Well, hold on, because Graham was telling me it was a boost leak because over the internet it looked like a boost leak, and it did.
The amount that we were all like in each other's asses by the end of this, and then when we found out what it was, we're all like, yeah, all of us were wrong. To be fair,
it was a boost leak. Boost was leaking.
Yes, it was a boost leak. And again, I mean, you only have one set of eyes when you're just behind a laptop.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, so, I mean, we're already frustrated because getting to this event was rough.
Yeah.
This was the bypass valve thing, right?
No.
No. I don't think I ever told you what it was.
Okay.
You thought it was the bypass valve.
We attempted, let's throw this out here real quick. We attempted to put the electronic wastegate on at this time period too, to have ready for Road Atlanta. And we were going to run the electronic wastegate and the electronic blow-off valve. Graham is running this setup on his car, and it works flawlessly, okay? But for whatever reason, we were having a hell of a time getting this thing to make any boost. And I'm going to throw this out there. Graham is sitting there going, it's some sort of boost leak. And then Dylan would go test for a boost leak, and it wouldn't show up. Okay, because everything would seal correctly, and I kept screaming, it's this damn electronic blow-off valve, and guess what the fuck it was?
It wasn't.
It absolutely was the blow-off valve.
No, it wasn't. What it was what had happened at the time was we were testing the Gen 2 G35 1050 from Garrett, and no fault to Garrett whatsoever.
Whoa.
in a
We're not
time
talking about
crunch.
Road Atlanta. We're talking about the wastegate and blow-off valve thing. We're going to get to what happened at Road Atlanta. Okay.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that it's out there that I called it when we were testing that shit, that the blow-off valve was the problem, and we figured that out. Okay.
Graham,
That is
do you
why
remember
we
that?
went back to
I do.
the standard
Yeah,
blow-off
I-
valve and the standard wastegate.
Okay, so hang on. Let me go back to this. Yeah, so
Mhm.
this was really weird. I had tested this in length on my own car,
Yeah.
exactly the same electronic blow off valve. It's still on there, still works great. I knew exactly how it worked, and we got down to the point when you figured out it was this and put a different bypass valve on it. And I'm like, we tested them both electronically. I made that whole video of actuate the solenoid and all that.
Yeah.
And for some reason, yours worked differently. There's something did we ever figure out what it was?
We never had a chance. And
Yeah.
that's the reason that the electronic wastegate isn't on there, because honestly, once the season really kicked off after Road Atlanta, we had no time. Because
Yeah.
we were going to attempt to do it for Pitt Race and didn't have a chance. But the blow-off valve, still to this day, we're not sure what's wrong with our blow-off valve, but it works great on your car. So we think
Yeah.
we have a
And you
faulty
guys-
unit.
We both did the same electronic testing on it, and we had different results. Like
Yes.
pressure on one port would close mine, it would open yours.
Which, again,
Yeah. So that threw us off. Yes.
so going back to this, we tried to do that. So this was all between CMP and Road Atlanta. Okay. And that was like a 2-week thing. Like, Dylan didn't sleep. He just didn't sleep. So either way, we go down to Road Atlanta. We're like, this car's ready to rock. We even had it on the dyno, made decent power on the dyno. We were pretty hyped, ready to go. Garrett had sent us this new G35 Gen 2. And it made good numbers on the old wastegate setup. We were really excited. We go down there, and the very first session, I'm like, this thing kind of feels doggy. And I can't really explain it. Like the shifter's working good. Graham had to do some small updates, but like but something feels wrong. Almost like maybe there's a drag on the car. I don't know. We didn't know because we just put this trans in. Okay, we changed a bunch of stuff. Who knows? Maybe I just don't know how to drive the car anymore. But the speeds on the straight didn't make any sense. That whole weekend, we were on Graham's like, it's a boost leak. And Dylan's like, there's no boost leak. And like,
We were yelling. Everybody was yelling at everybody except Forklift. Forklift was
Forklift is like, hey,
I was saying it was exhaust leak or boost leak. Like, you know, that's all I can really see. Like, A, the turbo's not coming up
You're
like
not
it should
there.
be. B, it's not making the boost we're calling for.
yep.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, long story short on this one, it wasn't a boost leak. I had tested it. I got a little bit hot headed over it because I'm like, dude, it's got to be something else. I mean, it was one of those things where it was looking at the data after we got home when we started really looking at what it could be. So what it was doing was it had a lot of back pressure and it wasn't hitting boost target. I mean, even Garrett had came over and talked to us and kind of looked at it, and they also agreed that it had maybe something to do with the DA value and
Yep.
or a boost leak. And so things that we didn't normally think of, which I started to after this, was DA value at the track and how that would affect things and how temperature affects things. So
DA being density, altitude. So basically how dense the air is, essentially
Yeah,
where you were at that point, can really
that
drastically
wasn't
affect
the
power.
issue. Yeah, that wasn't the issue at this track. The issue was, so long story short, they had sent us this Gen 2 to stick on the car, and I didn't have a new hot side. So I had to get crafty. Well, a hot side that had been ran on the same turbo for 2 seasons, pretty rough. Did not want to come off the old turbo. I had to actually press it off. And then so the clearancing wasn't dead center, and so Nate here at the shop actually had to put it in the CNC mill, and we had to mill it out some on the hot side, and it looked pretty good. It measured pretty decent.
And
But
even Garrett said it was within their tolerance. That's why we ran it.
yeah. And so here we are. I mean, this is on top of building the sequential, the diff, the suspension changes, tuning, all this stuff, and then getting the car ready was also dealing with this. So there was a lot going on in a 2.5 week period. And so I recall watching the in-car video from the record lap, and just someone had made a comment about how slow it was on the straight, and then calculated the time it took to get up to a certain mile an hour. And it was like, yeah, this car's only making like 300 horsepower or something stupid. And then so I think we put it back on the dyno after Atlanta, and it still wouldn't make power. And I'm like, dude, it's not the
way down on power. So what we ended up finding out, we were only making like 480 horsepower, and it was happening really late. And so we got second place on like 480 wheel.
Yeah. So it ended up being the inside, like the innermost turbine blades on the hot side ended up making contact after everything got hot. And so it was having a hard time spinning the turbo, and that's why it looked like a boost leak and had high back pressure, and
it just munched it.
So Garrett, being how awesome Garrett is, they were like, yeah, we got you. They sent us a new turbo like immediately. I remember I pulled the downpipe off on the dyno when we were testing after Atlanta, found it, and then they were like, dude, we're going to send you guys a whole new setup. Don't even worry about it. Garrett's been an awesome sponsor with us for many years at this point. And so we got that on there, and it's still on there. We haven't had another issue with it. And again, I mean, that issue was like an unforeseen thing. I mean, that hot side that was on the car had been beaten. And I mean, I think Forklift saw me literally pressing the hot side out of pressing the old turbo out of the old hot side. So we were not keyed for success on my end.
It was, at this point, just what's going through my mind is, oh my God, 24 2.0 is what this is starting to feel like. Like, this is just random crazy shit. We have forgot how to win. Okay. So now between Road Atlanta, this was so we got another second place. Okay. And I got to be real, we escaped by the skin of our teeth with that, because we made no horsepower there. The car had no right even running when it ran. And we leave Road Atlanta. It's only couple of weeks between Road Atlanta and Gingerman, and we don't know. We have no idea what's wrong with this car at this point. Thankfully, Garrett was there. It was just the turbo. Things starts coming together. And during those runs we did, Graham was able to get enough data to really dial in the sequential pretty well. And then he also got his car during that time period, and he was able to do some more with it. Gingerman was the first event where Graham and our car was at the same event. So we were all there, and that was a huge amount of data. What I desperately wanted, I still desperately want this, is I didn't even care if we won the event. I didn't care anything. I wanted to go sub 130 before anybody else in Street Mod. Desperately wanted it. So I made a deal with said tire company, because we didn't really get a fair shake on these tires with the power steering being out, and then only getting 2 sessions with no power. And I'm like, hey, you guys hook us up with a new set of tires, there's a very high probability we're going to be able to take these tires and go set a new benchmark for Street Mod on Gingerman. And Gingerman is important to anybody in grid life, but this sub 130 mark has been something we've all been going after for like the past 4 or 5 years. Okay, it's been really hyped, and we were in a really good position to get it. It was us, and then Andy with Super K. So Andy took Alex Moss's car. Andy Smedegard from ASM was in Alex Moss's car, and those were going to be the two at the very first session. We were all going to go out there just trying to go for kill and get this.
Well, he had posted a video like as we were driving up, or like the day before, of him potentially running a really fast lap, but didn't have a lap timer on it in the video. So
No.
everyone on the internet was like, "What do you run? What do you run? Did he do it? Did
It was
he do it?"
hyped.
Like,
I remember we were watching the video and using stopwatches and like, man, that looks like it's probably under 130.
Yup. So we get there and it is like that first session was crazy. What I'm worried about is we get this lap timer, our dashboard. Dylan had been doing tons of work to this car, okay? And one of the things he'd been working on, especially between the drive down to Road Atlanta and the drive back, while I'm driving, he's tickling the keyboard trying to get this dashboard to work right. And he's doing a killer job of it. But it's a lot of new stuff that we're trying to get this dash to work. Okay. Oh yeah. RGB, bro. You guys, I swear. So the thing that kills me about this whole thing is I thought the very first hot lap was going to be it. Okay, so I went all in on that, thinking that was going to be the lap that if it was going to get done, it was going to get done. And they sent Alan Patton out first, and then it was Andy, and then us right behind Andy. And I figured if I hang with Andy through all the slower section stuff, and I leave 10 hard, hopefully I can hang with him, make up the space on the two straights where there's digs going into the straight, and we should, if there's a chance we can get there, it's going to be then. And that wasn't even close, but I had no idea what we were running. Then the next lap, as I go through, I'm going to try to get this lap timer to work. So I go that first lap, and I don't think I get it. And then the next lap is kind of like a cool downish thing. We start running into, you two are the worst. I start running into traffic, and the lap timer still isn't working, and I'm pissed off. So then going into the fourth lap, so third going into the fourth lap, I don't even come through 11 starting the lap very well. I'm pissed the lap timer isn't working. I'm like, I'm just going to go through this lap as fast as I can to try to get this lap timer to work. And so I end up kind of throwing away one. I blast through the rest of this track, not realizing that I am on an absolute burner lap. Come into 11, completely blow 11, because I'm like, well, this is just practice. Let's see how deep I can go into this corner. Blow 11, and then come through the start-finish line, digging on the thing, getting off the gas early, trying to hit this damn button. And that was the fastest time we ran the whole weekend. That was the fastest street mod time, overall street mod record, ran during that stupid lap. I threw away well more than half a second in just stupid shit.
The lap video, there's a few things where, I mean, it's kind of funny. It's funny now. At least
I was so mad.
Knowing what the
It's funny now.
issue was.
Yeah.
But
we didn't end up figuring out what the lap timer issue was till Pit Race. Or no, we got it earlier than that. It was Autobahn. Yeah. So basically what was happening is when I hit the lap timer, it was hitting start, stop, and reset at the same time, wasn't it? God.
Sorry, that was for a fan. Yeah, so it was it was basically, no, it was starting, so the start stop feature is one feature, but then it was also deleting the lap at the same time. So for some reason there was an oversight, because the last time we set it up, I mean, it was like in 2024, we were trying to get all the electronics together, which is a daunting task in itself. And then so setting everything up, I mean, RPM works, data works, all this stuff. So the lap timer, like you have to program these things. It's not just like a click the on button. And then in sense, it is also like click the on button. And so every time you hit that button, it would start the lap and then delete the lap immediately. And then so sometimes if you hit it enough, or like, I don't know, I got a weird sequence, it would work.
So
somehow.
That was the thing that was killing us, is every once in a while we could get it to work. So we're like, it can't be the button, but what we ended up finding was something. What caused it was so stupid. Works great now. So I am Crandy. I don't understand how your fronts aren't screaming on lap 4. I will say, said tire company that I'm not going to mention. One thing that those tires do very well is they're like when they get to temp, if you give it a cool down lap, you can then go hard again. Now, long story short, it was hot. Okay, very hot at this track. These tires we thought were king amazing, and they actually were for that first session. And even the second session, when it started to get a little hotter, those who don't know much about Gingerman, once it starts getting some heat into it, it goes right in the toilet. Okay. And then you add drifters on top of that, it gets even worse. So they were pretty good for the first 2 sessions. And then for us, they fell off pretty bad. Okay. Now those tires worked really well for those first 2 sessions. But past that, it was not the answer. Long story short, we implemented a new process during this time period. I kind of want Dylan to come back because I want to talk about said process. Is he still in the room, or did he go pee?
You want to grab a drink? I'll be right back.
Okay.
He left me in charge. I don't know what to do with
So
my hands.
Dylan, Graham, this was the first time you had your car. There also, you got a ton of data from this. We'll talk about your car here real quick. What all did you learn from Gingerman? Because you were making changes on both cars while you were there.
Yeah, so I was working on shift strategy. It was already pretty refined, but I was playing with some of the timings. I was playing with the blips on the downshifts.
Downshifts got a lot better at Gingerman throughout the weekend.
Yes. Yeah, because that was my first time being able to actually race the car on the track. And obviously you cannot really recreate track conditions on the street without risking going to jail or ending up in the ditch. So that was the first time I got to do more than just a 2, 3, 4 on the street. The other thing too that you really can't test on the road is you cannot test the clutchless downshifts.
Yep.
Because you really can't do that unless you're under full threshold braking, and you really can't threshold brake unless your tires are warm enough, on the track. So that was the first time getting to test all that and refine that on both cars, and we got that dialed in. Other thing I was testing was the electronic wastegate. It was working pretty well on the street, but again, you can't really test it until you're at track conditions, and it was hitting some weird faults on the track. So I was having to, reset things on the laps to finish laps, but I learned a lot from that and got it really refined for Mid-Ohio, and then really only had to touch it a little bit at Mid-Ohio and then never again for the rest of the year.
Is this when we started seeing the drift with the load sensor? Or was that more of a Mid-Ohio thing? I think Mid-Ohio is when we really started to see that.
Sorry, say that one more time. Dogs barged into the office.
Yeah, is that when we started seeing like the load sensor drift also? That we didn't really realize what was happening.
Yeah, we didn't have any of that at Gingerman, but it definitely kicked up at Mid-Ohio because it was so hot there.
Yep. We'll get into
was
that here
pretty
in a hot
cool,
second.
wonderful weather. And it's also not nearly as taxing of a track from a heat perspective.
Yep.
In and around the car. But yeah, that's when we first started seeing that affecting mostly your car, but ours a little bit too.
Well, we know really why it would affect ours really bad. We figured that out at Road Atlanta or Road America.
So linkage?
No, there was a very major thing, and we didn't know this until we got ice cream. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. You know what I'm talking about now, Dylan. So we'll get to that. So either way, so long story short, the other thing that we implemented, it was really important to our program over the year, and we've been really adamant about doing this, is every time I get out of the car, I go into the trailer because we have it set up for this now. I pull the card out of the camera that's on my face. I put it into the computer, and then I also scribble down notes onto the whiteboard. as like a data dump to get it out of my head. And we had to do this, especially at something like Grid Life Midwest, because people would come up and talk to me, and then my ADHD brain, all of the things I needed to think about would leak out of my head. And then we wouldn't make changes, talk about it, do anything, and we just go out and keep beating our heads against the wall. So this was massive for not only myself to dump a bunch of this shit out, but Dylan to take the information that I'm trying to dump out and then make changes to the car. It did kind of bite us in the ass at the end of the weekend when we kind of were looking at data and went, we need to, we needed to get better about looking at the video, and we didn't. And I never looked at that record lap. And if we would have, I think we would have made a slightly different choice. But we ended up making a knee-jerk reaction on what we should have done with tires. And unfortunately, it bit us in the ass. And we ended up getting eked for second by a damn Supra. Kyle got us, he showed up a little late and got us right by like half a second. So that was Gingerman's second place. And we left there. No, Jesus. You know I'm on a fucking podcast.
Way to interrupt that.
No shit.
I'm gonna call you now.
Don't. We left there pretty distraught because I think you and I are both like, I think we have forgot. Actually, we started implementing the data part of this after this. It was Mid-Ohio we started getting hardcore about the data.
Yeah,
It was not here.
Joanne will remember because I think you handed me the second place trophy and you're like, I don't want to carry this thing. And I didn't either. I was so mad about second there because it was a hard battle. We set that record lap and we're like, oh yeah, we got this. And then Kyle showed up and Kyle was quick, but
he wasn't even in the
touching our record
ballpark.
lap. And then we started messing around way too much and kind of shot ourselves in the foot, at that event. And so I wanted to throw the second place trophy. I was mad at the end of the weekend. I was like, man, dude, it just, the feeling of 2024 finally crept up on me.
Yeah.
And I think just 3 second place trophies in a row. I was just like, dude, something's got to change. And I think there's just a lot of thought press. I was calling you on the way home, kind of just data dump. And I'm like, I think we should put a whiteboard in the trailer. I think we should start doing this.
Whiteboard was my idea, but I think you were really big on we need to go over data. Whiteboard was my idea. I even told you which one to order. But you were like, whiteboard was my idea. I know you're making the stupid face. I'll even go find it's in our chat. Whiteboard was my idea. So either way, doing a data dump after every session made the most sense in the world, and we weren't doing it the way we were supposed to. And that key was massive for us for the rest of the season. I truly believe us data dumping after every single session, because it allowed us to then reset and go, what do we need to do to go quicker? Whether that is bring Graham in, make suspension changes, reset my brain, whatever we had to do. Every single session we had to, the process had to be followed. Okay. And this I 100% put on me. I am so damn ADHD that it is hard for me when I'm really hyped up driving a freaking rocket ship to get out of the car and go, okay, let's talk about this. Like, I'm just not that guy. Like, I gotta like get this energy out. So I'm like running around and people are talking to me and it's nuts. And so this process was huge and we implemented that going to Mid-Ohio.
Because also most of the suspension changes were basically I based off of if anything needed to change in the car, you would get out of the car and immediately tell me and then disappear.
Yes.
Or you get out of the car and be like, how does it feel? And you would literally be, to quote you, it's fine, don't touch a thing. I gotta do better. And that was, I mean, for the longest time, that was the only way for me to know if there needed to be a change or not. And then, there was a Road America we can get into, but there was a key moment in Road America with a whiteboard, and everything started clicking. And I was like, man, this is working. This is huge. This one little, just having a whiteboard and drawing the track and
Yep.
making notes. And we would both make notes. You would make notes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so it just, the data information was now collected in one spot. So whether it was a car setup, a tune setup, something I needed to tell Graham, something that we weren't sure about, or braking zones, etc. The whiteboard was, I mean, I'm surprised that thing was so cheap because it holds so much knowledge.
It's just a pile of value to us.
And then at the end of the weekend, I take a picture of the whiteboard and I put it in our notes, our post-race notes.
So one of the other things that was implemented mechanically that I forgot to talk about at Road Atlanta, but really came into play at Gingerman, was we switched to a different power steering pump. Sam at Dialed In recommended this super weird, like, dude, eBay from like wherever, is some Eastern European country electric power steering pump. And I gotta be real, it got to us real quick. It looked the shit. You wired that thing up and it immediately was fantastic. It has been awesome. It was so cheap too. It was so cheap that I hit them up and I'm like, hey, I want to order another one of these, but because I don't think I could get a replacement for it. And then they're like, oh, well, we see what you're doing. We're really hyped. We'll send you another one. So they sent us another one. So we have a spare. But they also gave us like a discount code that you can use. And you guys can email me and I'll try to get you that discount code because I don't remember off the top of my head. But for this, I'll give you the link and you could use the discount code. But it made it dumb cheap for this. I just recommend order 2 because if you ever need a replacement, I don't know where the hell you're going to get it from. But that thing just works. So Sam at Dialed In hooked us up with that, and like power steering issues have been gone since. So between Gingerman mid-O, I think it was more of a just we didn't make any real mechanical changes. It was more changes with how we deal with data. The biggest mechanical change we made is we went back to a tire that we trust. We went back to the RE71 RS. Good old tried and true. And that was it. I think that was the only mechanical change we really made. I think Graham made some small tweaks to sequential tuning between then, but he was also going to be at mid-O. So he got his car shook down. He was feeling good about stuff.
I
But
almost got struck by lightning at mid-O.
yeah, dude, mid-O was crazy. So new trailer. You get to mid-O early. You actually beat all of us there. This is the first time in history. Okay. So he gets there early and he is met with a ridiculous line and no way to get in. And then the most insane deluge, freaking monsoon thunderstorms I think I've ever seen at mid-O. And that is saying something. And that's my wife. Yeah, so your story at mid-O, just getting there and trying to get a parking spot was insane.
Well, what had happened was they had scheduled this was on mid-O's part. They had scheduled some other stuff prior, so they couldn't let us in the lower paddock. We had a garage space, and so we were stuck in the upper paddock. So then they had 50 trucks up in the upper paddock that were trying to get in the lower paddock that couldn't. And then when they decided they were going to let us in, it was also during a major thunderstorm. So I had to climb on the top of the roof of the RV because one of the vents to the bathroom had blown open. So I climbed up there and put a pack of Gatorade on it, and then I had to go back up and get it in the middle of the storm. And it was a good time. It was a good time. But we got all set up in the rain and everything, and I think we went to dinner that night, the group of us, and then it was a pretty good weekend of racing. Graham, I feel like you got a lot done with your car that weekend. Um, it was kind of awesome to be able to share garage space and just kind of pump up one another and make sure one another were good to go. And
Yeah, mid-O was a lot of fun. Gingerman was shakedown. I was dealing with some self-inflicted ABS issues. I was dealing with Kim and I were checking everything, dealing with some issues. We had an EMAP sensor die. We had to make some changes to the crankcase venting. It was kind of a shit show. We turned some laps. It was fun, but we sorted everything out. And Mid Ohio was like, we just raced the car. There was some minor stuff that you helped me with, but for the most part, we just raced the car. That was really fun to finally get to that point and have both cars working well.
So I had a couple memories from Mid Ohio. One, Mid Ohio was not a podium sprint weekend. So it was just the fastest lap you could turn over the weekend. So it changed how we approached certain things. We didn't run certain sessions. We ran other ones a lot harder than we normally would. What it really came down to, though, was Sunday morning was going to be the fast session. And we went out on kill with Kyle right up her ass on kill. And anybody who knows anything about Mid Ohio with grid life, everybody's cars are like kind of dialed at this point, and everybody was on kill. Okay. There was a bunch of drama and whatever from Mid Ohio, but like it from a pure time attack standpoint, I think it was one of the best events of the whole year. And it so slept on how good it was this year. A lot of really great battles happened up and down the grid, different classes. It was awesome. But the car was right. Okay. We were putting together solid laps. Our new data dump concept was working really well. Kyle had us worried the entire weekend, and I gotta be real, I think he would have got really damn close. But we turned it up a little bit for that Sunday morning session. He turned it up a lot. And this was BMW engine number 1 that ate shit trying to chase us around this year.
yeah, so it was from my perspective. I mean, it was kind of like things were finally, I'm standing in the hot pits, and things were finally all weekend. It was a progressive climb of faster and faster, and we'd go up a few rungs and get knocked down too, and then kind of feel out what the car was feeling. But dude, I was in the pits for Sunday morning, and the temps were perfect, the weather was perfect, the car had been going good, and it was just, I looked at you and I was like, hey man, the car's in your hands, go see what you can lay down. And
I'm still
I
astounded at the time we ran. I still I'm blown away at the time we managed to run.
I don't know if it was your first lap. I don't think it might have been. But I do remember the time you ran. You ran a 126.7.
Yeah.
Which around Mid Ohio is not slow. I didn't think we were average. I mean, at 126, I didn't think we were going to see that day. And I remember you going through, and I looked up at Joanna, and I think Joanna and Randy were standing on the railing. I was crying. I was bawling my eyes out like a little girl, because it was like, holy crap, we finally got past the barrier we've been fighting. And then I'm losing my mind in the pits, and then I watch Kyle go by, and he goes, I can hear him to start his second hot lap. So I'm already looking at my phone to see what he runs. I'm like, dude, I gotta let Dewey know if we gotta go back out or not.
Yeah.
Not podium sprint, but like it's the weather's right, so we
Yep.
gotta make.
It was the session.
Decisions. He's still in it after he goes through start finish, and as he goes off, by the start finish line, unfortunately his engine popped, and he was able to get off track by turn 1. And unfortunately, you don't wish to see that upon anybody. It's part of motorsports. You know what I mean? I don't want to see or break their car or their car burn down. I mean, we've had it happen to us plenty of times, so we know the feeling. But it is racing, it is motorsports, it does happen. His car had a small fire, and I was even grabbing extinguishers and running up pit lane, as far as I was willing to get, go out on track and get in trouble for trying to put his car out, because I wasn't going to stand there and watch his car burn down.
Yeah.
So, you know, after seeing that, you came in and I was like, dude, we're done. We got it. We can go back up. We don't need to go back up. And you obviously you don't know, right? Like you only
I had no
see
idea.
right, you only see so much, but I watched the thing like go right in front of me. I mean, big plume of smoke out the back of the car. It was just, I mean, you heard it. It just let go. And so that was like a moment of like, you know, like clarity almost, like everything, all the weight off my shoulders, off our shoulders. I mean, that was our first win for the season. I knew right at that moment that we were good for at least that race
Yeah.
and that we'd most likely won. I mean, a 126.7 is it's moving.
It's cooking. Like the car finally was like doing what it's supposed to do. Like I felt like I got most of that lap. So a lot of people don't know the amount of work I put in on the off season to improve my own driving. It really started showing at mid-O. Like I put a lot of time in between Gingerman and mid-O because I was gonna be damned if we were gonna lose mid-O due to me. So I put a lot of time in. The something that you know does get overlooked a little bit, why I love that event, is you and I had such a great time in the last session watching Jamie and Luca battle it out for third. Like it was a war for third. It was so
That was
much
wild.
that was so fun to watch. But it was also kind of terrifying because now we're starting to see who's coming for us. And especially Luca, that is the second event they had that car at, and they were already about to shove that thing onto a podium. And just getting to a podium in street mod is no joke. So that Supra was already starting to come together. So either way,
Yeah, that event, I was also calling Forklift every day. So a lot of these events, I would call him and give him updates personally.
yep.
Mid Ohio wasn't streamed, so no one really knew what was going on. So I would call him and kind of give him updates, and naturally, I would just fuck with him. So I think we got there. I think he just brought it up to me, but he's like, "I'm pretty sure that's the event you called me and told me I got you guys the wrong gas." And so
It is. Dude, we
And
screwed with him
so I
and he
called
was
him, I was
like,
like-
oh my God.
yeah, he was losing his mind. I mean, he's the new guy, so we got to kind of mess with him a little bit. But yeah, he was like, I told him he didn't get us the right E85 and that we weren't going to be able to go back out. And he was like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "No, I'm just messing with him." And so, yeah, I mean, that was a lot of fun, you know, throughout the season to be able to call this guy because, you know, he only got to come to a couple races this year. And
Again, people don't understand between every single one of these events, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but it was massive for us. Forklift would pack this trailer, okay, and logistically get anything that we needed to get. Fuel, you know, if we needed supplies or whatever, he'd make sure they were in there. He'd let us know what we were missing, what we weren't. But just packing the trailer alone was such a giant lift off of Dylan that
right,
it
because
opened up
normally
so
it's
much
just me.
time. Yeah, and it was always you at like 2 a.m.
Yeah, and then having to drive, you know,
Yep.
hours. So, you know, getting ready for the next race, which was Road America. I mean, that was we both knew him and I had talked a lot, and it was like, hey, I don't remember if you flew in or for that one or not. I know I had a couple of them you flew in with the drive with me. I think that was one of them.
Yeah.
This year, last year I did it by myself, and the RV had broken down, which can happen. This year, no, I was by myself because the trailer, the wheel bearing on the trailer.
Yeah.
That was a shit show, kidding me.
Yeah,
Oh my
so
God.
I was on record time. I mean, he had helped me packed, and so I was on record time to beat everybody to Road America again, all the way from Maryland to Wisconsin.
Well, we got to let's not hit Road America quite yet. I got one more thing I want to bring up.
oh, okay, yeah.
Graham and I got in big trouble because we didn't have the right banners on the car.
Oh yeah.
So I had a banner that was custom made for Boogie's livery that we lost with a windshield. So we had to put an old banner on, and it was from like 2017. And then Graham I think had one from 2016 on his car from when he won the championship back in the day. Oh my God. I thought Kyle was going to have an aneurysm when he realized we had the wrong banners
on the front windshield.
It was so funny.
Yeah, well, I told him, I was like, listen, it just says in the rules that we have to use a provided banner. It doesn't say have to say current year provided banner.
Yeah, it doesn't say when you provided it.
Yeah. So he was like, I knew better to argue with you.
And so
ridiculous.
they argued with me about it, and I'm like, well, if you're that mad about it, come look at this one. And then I showed them Graham's, and they're like, oh my God. That was so good. That was one of my faves. All right. Road Atlanta. Did Graham run at Road Atlanta?
Road America?
Road America, sorry. Road America. Did you run at Road America, Graham?
Yeah, I did. I was there.
Okay.
Remember, I had my car caught on fire.
Oh yeah, you got to pull a me.
My brake ducts caught on fire. To be
first off, you got what? 5th or 6th at mid-O. So your car started really coming along there.
I think I was 5th. Yeah, I was 5th there.
There was a ton of drama.
I was getting there.
Behind the scenes of all that. We're not going to get into any of that. That's where the 10 commandments of time attack and all that shit came from. But
sure.
Road Atlanta, which Graham broke like 4 of in that weekend. But Road Atlanta or Road America, we knew we were going to be pretty quick there. I didn't realize we were going to be that quick, but I also didn't realize how close some other cars were going to get. And this was also mid-O was the first event on your side, Graham, where you started seeing the weird heat affecting the shifting, if I'm right.
Yep.
So
yeah, we discovered that the
let's
load
kind of
cell,
explain that. Yeah.
Yeah, the load cell in the shifter is very sensitive to temperature around it. And we still really haven't worked out how other shifter mechanisms that have load cells built into them, how they deal with this. And maybe Dylan's got it figured out as he's waving his arms back there. I don't know, but I still don't fully understand it. But I did an interesting test, and I showed you guys when I got home from that event. I just took a simple like heat gun and just blew a little bit of hot air near it and showed you guys the voltage, and it moves like crazy. So essentially what we kind of worked out was that when the temperature around the bottom of the shifter starts getting, higher than it was calibrated at, it really throws it off and gets it out of where it should be to actually register at shift. So that's still the thing that we need to sort out for next year, obviously. But, we managed otherwise.
We go to Road America knowing that we're having issues with this, knowing it's going to be hot, and knowing we're going to be wide open throttle for long periods of time. Okay. So, we knew we were going to be quick at Road America. Okay. But Road America is terrifying. In the entire time I've been doing time attack, anytime I had brought Boogie there, I have never been able to pull it back on the trailer. This is before IAG. This is, it's always been some just awful shit goes down. So it's just super hard.
Prior, we had the cam gear let go.
Yep. And the last time I had Boogie there, I had another piece of timing let go, and it was the gear that actually turned the oil pump. When that's failed, it not only took timing out, but it stopped pushing oil, so that it also ate the entire engine. It's rough either way. So, we wanted, our goal was to put that thing back on the trailer. Now, after mid-O, I think we pulled the engine and did the refresh. Is that when we did that?
Yeah, so obviously I had a little bit of worry going to Road America after the year prior. I wanted to look at things. So the engine that was in the car prior to Road America, so mid-O, everything we did this season, we've talked about a couple races last season, was starting to show a little bit of signs of degradation, oil pressure. It was really kind of the first time I had to increase oil pressure demand on the pump or mess with anything at all. And so knowing Road America is so hard on cars and so hard on engines, we had a good gap to we had a little bit more than a month to replace the engine. So when we get back from Mid-Ohio, I had pitched the idea of doing a refresh to make sure that we stay on top of things. And we'd actually found some other interesting issues that kind of arose that we caught in the nick of time. Our timing belt was starting to it looked like a rock or maybe some kind of material had gotten into the timing system.
Oh, I forgot about this.
Yeah, and the belt was actually starting to be a two-piece belt.
Yeah.
So
we caught this at the very bleeding edge of death.
Yeah, so we put a new engine in, really no changes. I mean, the same exact engine that was in it.
Just refreshed.
Went in it. It was just a refreshed engine. So new bearings, everything else. Everything looked really good. I was worried about the mains, which they were still within spec, but they were on the bleeding end of it. And so we did a refresh, kind of got the car ready, went over some things. I knew the car was going to be fast there because we had saw what it could potentially do there the year prior, based off of lap data, but we wanted to make sure that the engine and everything was going to be healthy to get there. So
we made changes since last year too. When we had that cam gear failure, we switched over to a different cam gear manufacturer to make sure this didn't happen again. We're using a set of Roger Clark Motorsports titanium adjustable cam gears. They're really rowdy, and they really hooked us up with those. So the reason I wanted to say that is every time we have some form of failure, we don't just put the same thing back in. We try to find a better way of doing it.
That or try to figure out what caused it, right?
Yep.
Sometimes it could be practices or, everything has to be looked at as what caused it, how can it be fixed, and kind of really look at the fine details of what's going to make this thing run really great. So yeah, I mean, there was the cam gears that were in it. We learned a lot about cam gears and material. I'm not a material science. I know aluminum's aluminum, but I don't really, or at the time I didn't really know the difference between 70-75 and 60-62 billet aluminum. So that's a big key one. And then, I'm not an engineer, so we're trying to figure this out between everything. But yeah, I mean, so we went to Road America loaded and ready to.
Yeah, we went ready for war.
I was on a warpath to get up there, and I got north of Chicago, and I'm with Joanna, and we back into Walmart at like 2 a.m. And I'm backing up, and she's probably laughing right now because I can see she's listening. I'm backing up in this Walmart parking lot. I'm stressed. I've been driving 13 hours at this point. And as soon as I put it in reverse, start backing up, and I come, I'm like, all right, that's a good spot. And then I put it in park. The wheel on the driver's side of the trailer just falls off. And I'm like, well, that's cool. And she goes, what? I'm like, the wheel just fell off the trailer. And she's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, oh yeah, we'll figure it out. And so the next morning, I spent a ton of time becoming a trailer axle expert. And luckily, there was a gentleman that was close by in the town I was in that actually owned a trailer shop. And I'll spare you all the details, but we were able to fix it enough by mid-afternoon the next day and get up to the race still on time and not a day late this time. That the year before it took me 36 hours to get there. I was leaning on the side of caution thanks to Forklift and left earlier than I had planned, and it took me 32 hours to get there with some sleeping. 2024, I don't think I slept to get there. So.
Nope.
You also blew a tire 10 minutes away.
Yeah, I went to I left early. I went to go to the fuel station to fill up, and it was a tight turn. And literally, the fuel station's like 10 minutes from the shop. And I blew a trailer tire pulling in off the curb.
So I thought that the wheel that fell off was the one that you bumped and did the. No, it was actually the opposite side. So dude, what a disaster. But either way,
10 minutes after you left, I get a text. I just blew a tire.
We had a pretty good event. We were pretty much in front the whole time. Now, I'm not going to lie. Luca scared the shit out of us.
He picked up like 2.5 seconds or 3.5. It was more than that. He was a tenth off of us Saturday morning.
Yeah, he scared the shit
nowhere.
out of us. Out of nowhere, this dude comes from like 3 seconds back to get within a tenth of us. So I was freaking the hell out.
Because the whole time before that, we were just partying. The car was doing so well. Everything was
Yeah.
great. We were having a great time. We weren't even concerned. We were going out to dinner and stuff, which we never do.
Yep.
And then Saturday morning, I remember you coming in the pits. I'm like, I don't think you went any faster. We were still on. I think maybe we had saved tires for podium
We
sprint,
we
so
weren't
on
putting the
tires.
good tires on, and I think that was also the session that I found the limits of what RE71s can do with our ABS system. And there's a really great picture of me sliding right off a Canada corner. Like I go by a photographer, like headlights towards them, like out into the ass of Canada corner. I never spin boogie, and yeah, we spun going into that.
This was the key moment I had talked about on the whiteboard earlier. Was there was also an issue you had in the same lap leading up to Corvette Bridge.
Yeah.
And we had looked at the data, via fire laps, via GoPro, via everything we're seeing on our end, the whiteboard and everything. And you just had like a click in the moment and you're like, I got a brake going up the hill.
Yep. What was happening was I was hitting the brakes and it would throw our MK60 unit into like an ice mode and it would lose its mind. And when it hit, like the ABS wouldn't work anymore. So you'd be going up this hill and that's where I would hit the brakes normally. And we were going into that corner faster than I used to. So that's where I would hit the brakes normally. And that's also where I was practicing and iRacing. And like it did. You're right. It clicked. I'm like, I need to brake earlier because what's happening is I'm going over this hill and I'm lifting. Like the car's pulling the weight off of the tires, and having these conversations made all the sense in the world because we looked at the video and could see it.
Yeah, I remember you came in after you spun in Canada corner and you were like, there's something wrong with the car. You were all frantic.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, rightfully so, right? You just spun at probably north of 100 miles an hour. They're
Yep.
almost into a wall. It's I would probably be frantic too. And then I remember looking at the rear tires, and I mean, they're practically bald. And I'm like, all right, man, I'll see what I can find. And I think like an hour later, I caught up with you, and I was like, hey, I'm just gonna put the other tires on because the ones on the car right now are absolutely done. They're toast.
Yeah.
They weren't corded, but I'm kind of surprised they weren't.
One of the things that like we also learned a lot too about heat cycles on tires. Okay. And at this point we were cycling between a set that had like 15 sessions on it and a set that had like 2 sessions on it. Okay. So we are now starting to understand the limits of what an RE71 RS can deal with heat cycles. And that's what was happening is we were heat cycling these tires out. So we heat cycled the piss out of the tires. So what do you...
Graham also had to stop. Now, Graham, your brake ducting caught on fire. Was it a black flag or like, did you have to stop for some reason? Then just the heat caught everything?
Yeah. So what happened to me was something that happened to you guys that I should have been checking and is now on the checklist. But the bolt, the Allen that threads the bottom of the shifter into the shift rod backed out just like it did on yours after so many laps and vibration. And yeah, so I was on a second, I think I had gone for 1 lap, but got held up. And so I was on a second lap, basically like another heater, another halfway through. And I was heading down through, I think it's turn 7 there. And right at the bottom, I went down for second and it just went to the front of the shifter and I had nothing. And you're not used to a sequential, just like you guys, when you're driving around, your first instinct is, I just nuked something. I need to come to a stop so I don't make this more expensive. So I'm feeling around and I pull off and I come to a stop so I don't make things worse. And right as I come to a complete stop, I realize what had happened. My linkage is just disconnected. Same thing you guys ran into.
Yep.
Trouble is, I'm already stopped and I'm still in third gear. There's no way in hell I'm getting that thing going again. And I'm like, well, cool. I'm sitting here, at least I'm in a bad spot. They can come tow me out. But then very shortly, I start seeing some smoke rise from both wheel wells. And I'm like, oh no. Oh no. And it was the backing, not the brake. I said brake ducts and I confused people in the chat because that's kind of a bad way to say it, but it's the backing plates on the calipers. I was using an APR kit I've had on this car forever. Same one I won 2017 with, and it's perfectly fine until your calipers are red hot and you come to an abrupt stop and there's no cooling off. Then the resin inside the backing carbon fiber weave, the resin that holds it all together, lit on fire. And I had to jump out, use my fire extinguisher, got one side put out, got the other side almost put out, but it relit. And so then I'm flailing my arms like one of those, noodle guys in front of the car dealership, like, get over here and come put my car out.
Or
of course,
in the front of at Boogie in 23, waving my arms around, praying. I thought you were gonna get cooked.
I'm looking at the people with fire extinguisher across the track, and I'm like, please come over here, but they can't because the track has to come to a complete stop. I understand that. So it takes a while before they get there, but thankfully they got there. They got it put out. It didn't do any damage. I've got some burning inside that set of wheels, but I can live with that. No big deal.
Whatever. So
that was fun. That was my fun moment at Road America.
What we started to find out is Boogie, like Graham could turn a few laps and his shifter would be fine. Boogie wouldn't even make one lap, and we couldn't shift it.
Okay, so this issue is a little bit different because leading off that conversation, that the issue we were running into is the strain gauge for the shifter for the ECU to see everything.
You got real quiet. So long story short, this wasn't a linkage problem. This was a temperature problem. Keep going. Whatever you're doing, do your thing.
I can hear him okay.
Yeah, so it looked like you were frozen. Sorry, that's my bad.
No, you're good.
So yeah, it was a temperature issue. So basically, it would think it's either downshifting while you're not touching it at all, or upshifting, or it just wouldn't work at all, and you would have to revert to using the clutch pedal.
Yep. So what we ended up doing is for Podium Sprint, we ended up disconnecting the strain gauge. So there had been a lot of speculation at this point that the only reason the car was fast was because we put a sequential gear set in it. So we disconnected we had already set the street mod record. Okay, we destroyed our old record, and we disconnected the strain gauge. And in the hottest damn session of the weekend, we go out and Podium Sprint, and we were a couple of tenths off of our record with having to clutch shift this thing, and that kind of shut that whole thing up real fast. Because it was clutch shifted that whole time. Like, that was not sequential shifted for Podium Sprint. We also came up with, during that, because we were worried because Luca was close, okay? We came up with a system of different pieces of bright colored poster board. So we don't have comms in the car yet, all right? So what we devised was way back at Canada Corner. For Podium Sprint, you get 3 laps, okay? So I was going to go out for a hot lap and try to turn whatever I could, all right? But I didn't want to risk the car, and we were going to need a cool down no matter what. So I needed to know if I needed to go for a 3rd lap or not. So you guys are the worst to try to do this with, I swear. I'm never letting you have a camera again.
Just listen, turn off the video, turn off their video. Don't look at them. You won't even know what they're doing. It's wonderful.
So either way, we get a bright red piece of poster board, a bright green piece of poster board, and we're going to sit somebody back at Canada Corner to lift it up. So they were on the out lap there. I wanted them to lift it up so I could see where they were at. Okay. And then on my next lap through, I was going to be on my cool down. So that would be my hot lap. And then on my cooldown lap, I needed to know if I needed to go for one more, and they would either lift up. I think what did we devise? Was green go again or red is your good? I think red was your good.
Graham was down there, so I don't.
Yeah.
I think it was green. I think green means go if you need to, and red
yeah,
meant
red meant you won. So either way, I come through and Graham. I got red. This worked beautifully. So we only had to run one lap.
I think there was just a green, and if you saw the green, you were good. If you didn't see the green, you'd keep going. That's how we did it.
Something like that. We simplified it either way. All I know is on my next lap on the way through for podium sprint, my cooldown lap. Well, no, it was would have been my third hot lap. You were using it in a phallic way to hump the air. So
that sounds right.
Yeah, that's typical Graham.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So green wang stuff. And we were using the orange one because the orange one is super bright. So basically, if I saw it, I had to go. If I didn't see it, I didn't need to. Long story short, we ended up winning that. But then somebody decided to protest the fact that our radio didn't work.
No, it was your registration was out of date.
My registration was out of date. Yes. So
it was the same month.
It was pretty well. It was I think a year or so out of date too. Like it was same month, but like a year. It was out of date. Okay, I had another plate purchase for it, but I kept forgetting to bring it, and then I lost it. Okay, but it was registered. But either way, we got asked, "Hey, you need to go do a." They didn't technically ice cream. Do the ice cream rule to us. We got told it would be good if we went and got ice cream. So it was
more like a strong suggestion.
Strong suggestion. You should probably go get ice cream. Long story short, the ice cream rule exists in any class that starts with street. You need to be able to take your car to go get ice cream at any point. And they could just ask you to go. And they strongly suggested we went and got ice cream. The car was great and ready to go, so we went and got ice cream, which was awesome. So if anybody saw those pictures of me kind of flipping off the camera with an ice cream cone, that's why. Because we did get protested.
Ice cream place is so good.
It is. We are definitely going next year. But on the way back, I noticed something. Because I don't get to cruise around slowly in the car and not with gloves and all sorts of shit on to where I can't feel this. I was feeling heat coming through our firewall blowing directly on the shifter. And what that was we had a open area, like a hole in our firewall that didn't have a grommet in it.
Well, it was from your old wiring harness, pre me.
Sure.
And so it was like a couple different holes that just the air passes through.
Yeah.
Just right. And so you were like, yo, feel this. And if you stuck your hand just in front of the shifter, you could feel the 60-mile-an-hour wind.
Yeah.
And heat hit it. So
it was like blow dryer coming through this and just cruising down the road at 60. So that was why Graham's shifter acted so much differently than ours. Like he could go multiple laps and we couldn't. And that after we plugged those holes, that helped a ton. Again, these are all the small things that we learned throughout this season. So, dude, I was so hyped after Road America being able to pull that car. We got to go do a photo shoot with Rob. We got ice cream. We parked the car over by the podium, and then I took some great pictures with Pete, which I ended up getting one printed because Pete's a badass. Pete also won.
That was their second win in a row.
Yep.
And now it started, at least for me, it started to feel real again.
Yeah.
You know, it felt like things were coming together and what we were doing was working.
So, we didn't change damn near anything between Road Atlanta and Lime Rock other than the alignment.
The alignment, and I changed oil.
Yes. That was the least I think you've had to work on the car since you started working on the car. We didn't even mount tires.
Everyone's mood just shifted to be happier.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
it was a big shift. I mean, you could feel it here at the shop. Everything just kind of, one win, you're like, all right, you guys got to win. That's great. And then the second win in the row, I think everyone was like, okay, it's on.
Yep.
And
Everybody
so,
started to get hyped again.
yeah, everybody was hyped. So, I mean, we do this thing where I bring the trophy back around. If someone in the shop helped a lot, I'll let them bring it home. There's many times that I just get back and I'm like, here, take this forklift, take the trophy home. You helped out, you helped earn this as well. So it was after Road America, it was kind of a refresh. So yeah, I mean, we did an alignment, we talked about some strategy and this and that, and then we went to Lime Rock.
Yeah, we went to Lime Rock. I think we were really hopeful going into Lime Rock, and then our biggest adversary became ourselves because of James Houghton, in 23, we had to go there and set a record. We thought we were going to show up and just immediately annihilate our record, and that ended up becoming a serious issue because of James Houghton and how hard we had to turn that car up and how fast we had to run. In 23, beating our own record became a massive problem for us because we needed that record point. So our system was working well, but we were kind of cocky and showed up with the same tires we ran at Road America, and that was not the play. Well,
yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head with that we were cocky. I
Yep.
mean, we were pretty dominant there, even with James Houghton in 23. We know the track fairly well, etc. And so I think we had a simple plan. I mean, they had talked about it being podium sprint or not, etc. But I was feeling extremely confident in the car, being able to go fast there, and we just kept the same mentality and kind of system where you got out of the car, go over the data.
mhm.
I mean, immediately when we got there, we did change the ball. We put ball joints in,
Yes.
and that was a fiasco. So as soon as we got there, I was like, oh, these ball joints, the stud is hitting the wheel. I'm gonna have to. I literally took Bailey's grinder out, and then I had to weld the castle nuts onto the ball joint after I shaved them down quite a bit. So that was interesting.
Yeah. So, yeah. Either way, car worked. It's just if we would have been there on new tires, I think we would have went a full second faster easy. But
Yeah.
we were on check tires, and the old tires that we had and the new tires that we had were both like, we ain't having it anymore. It was hotter and shit, and we had to get that record.
Well, it
So
wasn't like the tires that we brought that were newer were like one session from Road America. These were new tires at Mid Ohio.
yes. So both of these sets of tires were done. Okay. But we managed to pull it off. We just barely beat our own record though. And you could see it in the data, especially up at the top of the hill coming down to the last corner. Like that was the first event I ever used fire laps at. And so I could overlay fire laps data from both times. And we were like 7 or 8 miles an hour faster in just that one section because of how much power we had it turned up in 23. And we didn't want to do that. We didn't want to do that here. So one of the things that like everybody thinks we ran with like 800 horsepower this year, we didn't.
No, because Dewey would do this thing where he looks at me and he'd be like, can I just turn this up and finish this? And I'm like, no.
Well, the thing with, I gotta be real, of all the tracks we go to, Lime Rock scares me the most because that jump is terrifying and it fucks your lap if you don't get it right. And you have to commit so hard on that jump. And that's what I wanted to do, was just turn it up, just hammer down the straight, knock out one lap with a ton of power. We'll just make it and I can go easy over the jump and do the rest hard as shit and just be done with it. And he wouldn't let me do it. So I had to drive this thing to get it done. Thankfully, we managed to get the damn thing done. and podium sprint went the way it should. Jamie damn near killed himself. It was all a good time. You ended up even having time to work on Jamie's car. You turned into a BMW mechanic.
Well, it's not like I haven't worked on that platform before. I've done a lot of stuff, so it's not like I just know Subarus. But yeah, I mean, he showed up to the event from Jump Street with issues. He hadn't turned a lap, so by the second day, I was like, I gotta help this guy. Like, it would suck to drive all the way here from Florida, I think he did, and then not be able to turn a lap because you're having issues. And Jamie's not a mechanic, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So he's like he's kind of looking at people for help and kind of trying to outsource as much stuff as he can. And so I was like, I remember looking at you, I was like, yo, our car's good. Like, I'm gonna help him. And I got his car back together, and I really wanted to see what he could do for a lap, and he showed us.
Dude,
So
he put together a gnarly lap. Unfortunately, he did stick 4 off in the very last corner. He would have got second with that, I think. It was a rowdy lap. That it was really impressive, honestly. But that was, other than us having to beat ourselves there, that was probably one of our more chill events.
so that was our third win
Yep.
with the record. So now we're looking at the point system wildly different, because now we got 326s and 22 points wise, and so it's the best of 4, and you know, I'm doing the math in my head and what we need next already before we even leave the track.
And there were only 3 events left. Now, we already had tickets for Pitt, but we didn't have tickets for Autobahn, and we didn't have tickets for Laguna, and we had to make the decision on which one we wanted to go to. Now, one of our other sponsors, Subimods, desperately wanted us to go to Laguna, and even was offering to let us stick Boogie in their rig to get it over there. And we ended up instead deciding we were going to do Autobahn, but we kept it a complete secret from everybody. And it was so funny because everybody was talking about, they were all trying to figure out if we were going, if we were not. And everybody knows I actually hate that track. I really don't like the people who run it. I don't like where it's at. I don't like a lot of things about Autobahn. I don't particularly think it's laid out great. Like, I just don't like it. So me saying I wasn't going to Autobahn was an extraordinarily believable thing. We ended up grabbing tickets at the very last second, and then when we showed up, there was
We were the first ones there.
we were the first ones there, and when people were rolling up, you could see they were disheartened. The only person who was hyped to see us, I still think, was Ryan
Matthews.
Ryan Matthews was currently in second place, and he did not bring his street mod car. And he was trying to, he didn't want anybody to get an easy win. So when he saw us, he was like, oh, thank God. So either way, we
bought this like I bought this 10x6 pirate flag, and we bought a 25-foot flagpole.
Yes. And it's sick. That pole gets way up over the RV. We ended up attaching it to the back of the RV, and in all of the live shots that they show of the track, anywhere that you're seeing the front straight, it's this giant pirate flag. Honestly, that weekend went really well. The all-wheel drive record, I don't want to call a record soft, but we had the potential to go quite a bit faster, because the overall record, we knew we were going to be at least on par with that and close-ish to it. So we were expecting to go get that record right away, and we did.
The entire time we were at Chicago, I was just trying to keep you within the realm of, we just need to win this with a record, dude. We get the all-wheel drive record. We don't need to keep going out. We didn't go out a ton. You're like, dude, I want to go smash. I'm like, no.
I
like,
want that overall. I want that overall.
We need to win podium sprint. We need to save tires.
Well,
we just need to win this event, because if we won the event with the record, it was the championship.
We also ordered up a brand new set of tires. So we went and set the record on, these are like 16, 17 session old RE71
These
RSs at this point. These things
These
are
are the
cooked.
tires from Lime Rock.
Yeah, which were the tires from mid-O. Like, they were the good tires for mid-O. So, these things are cooked, and we managed to, but we had a brand new set. We also got a new sponsor at that point. That's when we got Koenig hooked us up with some wheels. So we've got some badass wheels. We were a little worried that they weren't going to fit because they were slightly lower offset, but it ended up working out all right. I think that's the only major mechanical change we made. But we had a brand new set of tires, brand new set of RE71 RSs. This was the first time we ever got tires shaved. I'm still up in the air if it's worth us doing or not. I know you're kind of back and forth with that.
I didn't realize that we were talking about the shaved tires. Yes.
Dylan fully approved of it.
At first I was pissed.
Big pissed.
Forklift, why don't you tell that story about the tires? This is a good story for Forklift to tell real quick.
He was mad.
The tires showed up to the shop. I didn't know they were getting shaved. Maybe you had said something to me, but
I did.
It was completely.
We had a lot of other shit going on.
He was big pissed about that one there.
I know.
With the record potentially being locked up there, and then you have these half-ass tires show up basically. Boy, howdy was he pissed.
Oh, big mad.
Yeah, so they
Big
show
man.
up, and I'm like, dude, half the tires here. We have to finish the season out on these. What the, And you're like, no, dude. The guys at Tire Rack are like, blah blah blah, tire squirm. This gets rid of it, and so.
To me, it made the most sense in the world, and I even said this, that if we were going to try this, we needed to do it at the end of the season, and this would be the way to do it. So
now we do have 5 heat cycles on these tires now, and I can't tell you how they feel. That is up to Dewey, but they still look good.
Yeah, and just so we go out for podium sprint, and I my big thing was we just needed to win. Okay, and you had this in my head. You wouldn't give me any more power or anything. I really wanted to get the overall record, but it was hotter than fuck, and it just wasn't going to happen. So I tried to get the overall record on the new tires. He wouldn't let me go out in the morning with the new tires and set the damn overall, so I had to, long story short, it did get rid of the squirm. I don't know if it's better or not, but it definitely got rid of the squirm, and the tires still feel great. Okay, so I would love one day to be able to have 2 new sets of tires, one shaved and one not, be able to do sessions back to back. Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think there's something to it, but I don't have enough data to say if this is the play or not. We ended up locking that up. We didn't get the overall record. We missed it by like a couple hundredths or something stupid, some dumb, minute amount that it still aggravates me to no end.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, what was nice is Autobahn ended up being a lot better event than I remember it being. They track workers were a little more pleasant, and then we went nuts on the go-karts the whole weekend. Graham, if you don't go to this event next year, we can't even talk.
I beat Dewey on the go-kart. I beat Dewey and Ito on the go-karts. Just putting that out there.
Well, like I said, I think maybe next year you drive the car and Dewey wrenches on it. Let's see what happens.
Well, then we won't make it out of one event.
Yeah, I might get a chance. Hey, I might get a chance at the podium if you guys do that. So it works for me.
That's true.
Be one less car to contend with. Not really because of Dylan's driving, more so of the Dewey working on it part, Dylan.
So,
say again?
I said, if you guys swap roles next year, you drive the car and Dewey works on it, I'll have a better chance at the podium, not because of your driving, but because of Dewey's mechanic skills or lack thereof.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'd be terrified to get in the car.
Right.
Yeah, I would be terrified to get in the car. I used to be terrified to get in the car because I was working on it. So that locked the championship up. At that point, mathematically, it was impossible for anybody else to go. And a lot of people were even asking, why would you even go to Pitt Race? Well, 2 reasons. 1, Pitt Race was closing. Okay, this is the last Grid Life event ever. And 2, in 2024, the only event that Dylan and I can honestly say we had a good time at was Pitt Race. We had a great time at Pitt Race. Everything was fucked, and we had a great time.
Yeah, it was 2024 Pit Race was awful. Car caught on fire some. Joanna's parents, that was the first race I think Joanna's parents came to.
Yep.
And I'm like, Joanna was working from the RV. I walk inside, I'm like looking for water. I'm like, car caught on fire. And I walked out, her parents are, in array. They're like, "Why, is this normal?" I'm like, yeah, this is normal. It catches on fire sometimes. And so they weren't at the time car people. And then now they came to Lime Rock this year. They came to Pit Race this year.
They're straight up
They
fans.
absolutely love it. But yeah, I mean, Pit Race was awful, but we found Mike's on Main, which brought us Cajun Ranch. Unfortunately, Mike's on Main closed this year as well. So we didn't get to do Cajun Ranch this year.
We
But we had
actually,
a great
like,
time.
Nick took us to this castle place, and we had, like, this was on Nick. Nick from Subi Mods was like, hey, the team, we're going to go eat at this steakhouse in a castle. And it was some, like, supposedly kind of fancy place. And it was fucking terrible. And then there was this dude with like zero torso and his pants pulled right up to his nipples that we're pretty sure was gonna kill us. And like it was just a whole weird situation. And yeah, the food in that area really took a big hit when Mike's on Main went away.
The steak tastes like just gray.
Oh, dude, it was just that was
But
bad.
we had steak dinner in a castle with Bucky Lasek.
We did. That happened. And even Bucky will tell
Yeah.
you that the food was terrible.
It was really funny because this was Forklift's second event to go to. And so he's been in the background doing everything. And so at Pit Race, I was like, yeah, let's hang out and we'll see if we can get a W for the weekend. And we're out to dinner with everybody in the freaking castle, and he's just texting me. He's like, I can't believe I'm eating dinner right now with Bucky. And I'm like, yeah, it's cool.
We're just like, this is Tuesday. Like, it's crazy
Yeah.
when you're flying that close to the sun. Like, you don't realize it until you like kind of take reference. And if you think about it, it is insane. Like, it's cool bringing Forklift to this because honestly, you and I have gotten a bit jaded with the people we get to hang out with and talk to and, the shit we get to do. Like, we're fortunate as shit, and Forklift is new at this, and he's just like, dude, we're fucking eating dinner with Bucky Lasek in a castle. Like, what is happening?
I was texting my wife, like I can't believe that this is happening. It's a normal Tuesday for you guys,
Yeah.
but for me, I'm just beside myself at that.
Yeah, we live a crazy life. But either way, Alan Patton showed up. He took Kyle's car that he blew up at Mid-Ohio, threw an old GT4 engine on it, and turned the thing to the moon.
Invited him.
Okay.
You guys invited Alan Patton there.
We did. It's
That
kind
was
of on
your fault.
us. We did this to ourselves because what we didn't want was Jackie Ding to get an easy championship. So we got Alan getting the gears turning to make this happen, to make it to Pit Race, so there'd be some sort of showdown. And then Jackie crashed his car at Laguna. Okay. And there was no reason for him to even go anymore, but he had already started the process. So he's like, screw it, I'm going to put street tires on it, come fuck with you guys. So, long story short, we were learning a bit about Pit Race because we'd only been there once and actually tried to run an event. And honestly, the data we were getting from it was terrible because we had no power steering. We got there for a practice day, and I run the whole time, and I'm like, this car is god-awful. Like, it's terrible. It's understeering. It's not doing anything. And we even go out in the morning session and it is cold. And we're like, there's no way this is going to be the fast session. No way in hell this is going to be the fast session. Guess what? The temperature that Pit Race wants is 38 degrees. Okay.
So I'm really disappointed because we learned so much about this track. Tracks have their own characteristics.
Every single one of them.
We learned a lot about Pit Race, and unfortunately, Pit Race is closing. And we probably will never get to run there ever again. And we learned a ton where I think we could probably be a lot faster there if we were to go back.
Yeah. we learned a lot. Thankfully, that knowledge, we opened our minds a bit, and it saved us in podium sprint. Long story short, Alan goes out with brand new tires, knowing a bit about pit race, and he had a sticker set he could have ran every single damn session if he wanted. He showed up with like fucking 50 tires. Dude came looking to kill, okay? Thinking that we were going to give him some sort of a war. And we're there on old fucking shit. We got our Autobahn shave tires that only have one session on them. So we got a set of good tires, but we were still trying to run these like 18, 19 session old tires with this thing just understeering like hell. I'm like, this is terrible.
They're actually,
we didn't know yet.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they weren't corded yet, but they were close.
So we go out for this first session, which I'm thinking, and you and I both are thinking, it's too cold for these tires to even come on. This is going to be junk. Okay. We go out. Alan runs a freaking lap time that's like 3.5 seconds faster than the current record. Just shits on the record. It wasn't even close. And it's what?
It was a 142.00 something.
It's stupid fast. Like, I gotta be real, even if we had new tires and everything was on it, I don't think we had anything for it. Like, it was absolutely insane. But Alan, the day before, also the entire day was running brand new tires, beating the snot out of this car, getting all the data he needed. He killed it during the test day that we also picked up. All I was doing was going out there in these fucking old tires and destroying what was left of these old shit tires. It's so stupid. Either way, we ended up coming in from that session. I'm like, this car is terrible. This isn't gonna fucking work. And then you end up like pulling the tires. I think we went out one more session. You finally looked at the tires and you're like, dude, these fuckers are corded. Like, they're done. So we ended up putting the other tires back on. We got ourselves a decent lap time down, but nothing really to brag about, because then the sun came up and it only got to like 60 degrees. And we're like, okay, this is good temps. The track went straight to shit. Like, any sun touches the surface of pit race and it goes right in the toilet. But if it's cloudy and 38 degrees, it's like the perfect thing for pit race. Pit race has also got this really strange texture to it. It's like sandpaper. It is wildly grippy. But again, if any sun touches it, it goes right to hell. We learned this all in day one. So we go out morning session, day 2, set an okay lap time, and then Luca ends up getting around us. Luca puts together a hell of a lap. We start running in. We were finding time even in later sessions, but we started running into serious issues with the shifter again. This time, we don't think it's heat related. We think the actual sensor itself, something is goofed up with it. So I get like half a lap in, and then the thing would start randomly blipping the throttle, even when I'm like going down the straightaway. It'd cut, it'd blip the throttle. I'd be on the brakes, it'd be trying to blip the throttle, be doing all sorts of wacky shit. And so the sensor was like seeing both ends, seeing like weird voltage for no reason. And we know rain's coming. We just don't know when. Okay. So we go out and do our the morning session of Sunday before podium sprint. And I'm like frazzled at this point because the shifter's not doing what it's supposed to do. I get half a lap in and the thing's trashed. I'm like, this is what we're in podium sprint, but our time's junk. Alan at this time has already blown that fucking Supra up again. So this is the third BMW inline 6 that we have competed with this year. That is shit and engine. The second one in that, and Jamie's. Yep. So, so everybody's saying this BMW straight 6 is God tier. I'm just throwing it out there. All engines die when you push them hard. It is not just a Subaru thing. Nothing is bulletproof. Graham will tell you all about it. There's no such thing as bulletproof. Okay. Especially when it comes to a track engine. We saw LS's die all year, all sorts of shit. So we go out to podium sprint. we can't get the shifter figured out, and we're trying all sorts of shit. Dylan's just like, dude, you're gonna have to clutch shift this. And I'm like, nah, I'm losing my shit I'm just acting a complete infant about this. Not only that, I'm 100% convinced it's not going to rain. Okay? That it wasn't going to rain. The rain was going to show up just after. I was wrong on both accounts. I think I had to sign Dylan $1 because
I framed said dollar and put it on my desk.
So, Sunday Cup went out, no rain. Club TR went out, no rain. Street goes out and immediately downpours. And Bucky even managed to get third place out of it due to it. So weather goes right to shit. So Street GT goes out, and we watch Ryan Matthews absolutely annihilate the Street GT field. Okay? And he does this on AO52s, which are not good rain tires at all. So we're watching that. Now, we borrowed a set of Extreme Contact 2s, which are really good rain tires, okay? And it is pouring, but we're sitting here watching the live stream, and we're seeing Ryan Matthews fly. So we decide, as we're sitting in the pits, we had everybody, the whole team, bunch of people from IAG came up, which was honestly was the best part of that event, was all the people from IAG that came up to support. Was so cool. Everybody's hanging out, huge pile of people all around the car, ready to swap the tires. And we actually set it up where we have RE71s on one side and the Contis on the other, so we only have to swap 2 tires depending on what direction we're going. We make the call in the pits to stay on the RE71s. Everybody else was on Contis. So it was a risk, okay? It is still pouring out, but Ryan Matthews just went out there and destroyed everybody on AO52s. I'm still going to edit this video up, but I want you guys to understand what was going through my head at this point. I'm like, okay, I don't know how much grip we're going to have. This car normally is garbage in the rain, and we haven't been able to do anything in the rain for a while. Also, last year when we tried to go out in the rain, everything fogged up really bad. So you did two things. One, you did put some fog protection shit on the windshield, okay? But the big thing you did is you ratchet strapped in the leaf blower and some brake ducting to blow on the windshield, so we had some sort of defroster. Okay, so if anybody sees that orange thing that's up in the windshield when you look at pictures from that, that's what that is. And dude, it worked flawlessly. Okay, it barely started to fog on the third lap. The other thing we did is, this one was my idea, and I still claim that it definitely helped because the temps actually were less inside of the cabin, was wrapping a shipping blanket around the dry sump tank that's in the cabin also. So it wasn't creating 200 plus degree heat inside of the cabin. So all of this, either way, I'm worried because every time I've went out with this car in the rain, it's been shit. So I'm like, these guys are on rain tires. I don't know what I'm getting into. There's some kid behind me in a Miata who's a complete phenom. He's gonna eat me. I'm losing my shit. So we go out. They send us out like 30 seconds or so apart. So I can't see where Luke is at, and I can't see who anybody else is behind me. So I'm just trying to figure out, do I got grip? Do I not? I'm like, okay, this feels halfway decent. I don't know what the rest of the track's gonna look like. So I run a fairly quick hot lap trying to feel it out. Remember how to drive stick again. Figure out how to heel toe and do all these things that I'm going to need to do on the fly. And I'm like, okay, this actually feels pretty good. Let's try to put a lap in, okay? So my first lap, I'm just motoring along at what I feel is a pretty chill pace, all right? I'm feeling like this is probably going to be okay, but I don't know how much grip I actually have. Car slips a little bit at some points. You know, I don't know if these guys on different tires are going a ton faster than me. I have no idea. Maybe they understand a rain line that I don't. But it feels really good. I at this point, I'm like, I'm actually having a good time, and the pressure's kind of off because we're not going to get the record, and it doesn't matter. And even if we lose, it doesn't matter. Like, we had already locked the championship up. So I just didn't want to disappoint everybody who came from IAG to watch this. Like, I was really worried about, like, everybody put in a bunch of effort to try to make this happen, and then we don't even podium. I was going to be pretty distraught. Second lap, car feels real good. I'm able to push a little more. I go through that first lap. How far ahead of Luca was I? Like, I was already multiple seconds ahead of everybody. I was like 3 to 4 seconds.
Your first lap, you ran a 154, and
Yeah.
no one else had gone under the 2-minute mark.
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know. We decided we weren't going to do the board thing. I was just going to go run 3 laps. Okay. And
What?
the whatever. Either way, I'm just going to run 3 laps. So I go through, and I guess everybody's losing their minds. In the pits, you guys were all like, holy shit. Like, dude, he's flying.
So we were all in the pits because we had agreed to stick the REs on, and then everybody forklift. I mean, I had friends in from New York,
Yeah.
Nate and Josh. We were all down in the pits with the rain tires still, because I said, well, he'll go out on his out lap and feel it out, and we had cleared this with race control, but if
Oh,
you
yeah.
grip, you are going to come back in and swap the tires in the hot pits.
Yeah.
And so we're all just standing there, and I've been around long enough, I could hear you coming over the hill. I'm like, nah, he's in it. He's staying out there. And then so you do your first flyer, and you run a 154, and I think the next closest time, and I could be wrong, but I think the next closest time was Luca at like a 2-minute flat. And so I was like, okay, well, that's it. I mean, we're in the lead, so that's good, but it's not over. And I didn't think I didn't think you're going to do another lap. Of course, we're all standing in the pits just getting rained on.
So I'm having a great time out there at this point. The car feels fun. Okay, it's going in the direction I want, and I'm like, this is the last time I'm going to drive the car this year. Fuck it, I'm going to keep going. I'm not worried about sliding off the track. I know where the puddles are now. I'm in a good spot. So I go through the second lap, knowing that I went a little bit quicker, but again, I don't know if a 55 is good. I don't know what it is. So I come through the second time, and I think I ran a 53 or a 52.
52.
And then Bailey starts talking to you going, you need to call him in, dude. Why is he still going? He already won this thing, because nobody was close.
We were all in the pitch just wondering what you were still doing. You
Yeah.
were just out there flying. You've already won.
I'm having a great time.
Bailey's yelling, just shut it down.
But
You can also see the distance between the cars where you can.
yeah, I had no
But we
idea.
see you catching Luca.
That's what I saw. So I'm like, oh shit, that's Luca. I wonder if I can reel him in, and then I'm going to be stuck in his brain this entire offseason no matter what. Or in my brain, I'm going, did he fuck up and he's about to put in a monster lap? Okay, has he been feeling it out? I want to see what Luca's doing. So I go through turn 1, and I'm like reeling him in fast as shit. We go through the next 2 corners and go down in the gulch, and then you go up this really big ass kind of steep hill, and it's a real traction situation. And when I come around there, I'm basically on his ass, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to pass him. And then I take, like, this conversation in my head feels like it took like 10 minutes of me trying to decide, should I pass this guy or not? Am I like breaking rules if I do this? Am I impeding his lap? But technically he's impeding my lap. I think I can get around him without it causing any issues, because I'm just destroying his pace. And then also in the back of my brain, maybe Luca's car doesn't work in the rain very well because they had diff issues all year. But that Miata behind me, that dude could be flying right now. If I'm catching Luca, maybe this guy's catching me. So I gotta pass Luca. So I go up the hill and just drive right around Luca. It was funny on the live cast. They're like, yeah, Dewey's probably going to hang back right now. He obviously sees he's catching Luca, so he doesn't need to push it anymore. So I don't see him going for the, oh, I lied. He's going for the pass. And I just drive right around Luca. What's crazy is I end up fucking up the entry coming into the next corner. And I can't get the car slowed down and end up blowing the next corner because I was trying to pass Luca during this series of corners. And so I throw away a bunch of time there. Get the car gathered back up, finish the lap. Lap feels great. I'm having a good time, blow through, and we end up running 50 flat with having to pass Luca. And I come in and I'm still not even sure if I won. Like, you guys are like, oh my God, that's crazy. People are clapping and shit. And I'm like, did I win? They're like, yeah. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And then I go in and you get in the car. Dylan gets in the car. And he's like, fuck it. He's like beating on the roof and shit. And I'm like, oh, I guess we won. This is sick. Yeah, he was hyped. And like, I didn't even realize how fast we went compared to everybody else. And he's like, dude,
Well, you asked me.
Yeah,
You
he's
were
like, dude, you blew him
You're
up by
like,
like
"Did I win?"
7
I'm like,
seconds.
dude, you blew everyone out of the door by like 6 seconds.
So like, I'm like, oh my God, no shit. So like, it kind of didn't dawn on me until we were going down the straightaway and everybody's clapping, you're beating on the roof and we're screaming and shit. I'm like, oh shit, we did win. Sick. We get out of the car and we're screaming and we're doing our whole thing and we're super hyped. And at that point, we just ran the wet production car record in the rain. Nobody else had ever ran faster at Pitt Race in its entire history in the rain until that point. Okay? So we're psyched. We just did some shit. We got something out of it, right? And then right when we think we did some shit, we're watching the live cast. We go into the RV, watch the live cast, and Alan Patton has to beat us by half a second. Even though he was in unlimited, because his car blew up, I really wanted that production car record. I mean, we've got a rain record that'll never be broke there for anything on like street tires, but he was in that GT4 Supra with a set of Hoosier wets, and he was on a tear, and ended up making sure that we couldn't be too proud of what we did, but we were hyped.
Yeah, Alan will push us to push ourselves.
Alan is that guy. You're never getting an easy thing past Alan ever. So I that was the most unexpected win I think we've ever gotten, and I was so hyped, dude. I'm still hyped about it. I'm still buzzing about that W.
So the season as it stands was we did 8 races. We pulled the car onto the trailer after every single race. We broke 7 lap records, some just all-wheel drive, but some overall street mod records. And we had 5 straight wins. And we knew we did it. We won the championship. We knew we had a good time, but I had Anthony set everything up for the photo for the thumbnail for this podcast, and it was like all the trophies just lined up in front of the car, and I'm like, wow, we had a good season this year. And
dude,
so,
it didn't really dawn on me how good of a season we had until that picture. Dude, we cleaned house this year.
so
I hope the naysayers from last year have been naysayed. I don't know. I think we learned a lot. And you know what the nice thing about it the whole season was? We really never had to turn the car up.
I wouldn't let you.
No, but it's one of the reasons that it stayed reliable. The other thing that kept this thing reliable, not turning it up, obviously. Graham, I think the sequential gear set actually helped in some ways with keeping the engine on boil, and in some ways probably did help the reliability of it a little bit. But Graham's tuning killed it this year. He was always right there for us when we needed it. Even if he wasn't at the track, he was next to his phone. We were making all sorts of small revisions or trying to figure out why the shifter wasn't working, just silly stuff all the time. But the key to this the entire year was, and it wasn't me saying this, it was other people saying this, which really was cool to hear, was the amount of people who finally started realizing how much time you are spending on the car outside of a normal session. Okay? Like if we're not running, you're probably working on the car. You'd be just tinkering on the car, even if we were well in the lead at midnight, just poking away at the car. And
Yeah,
you actually inspired a lot of other people to take their between session maintenance drastically different.
yeah. I mean, you sent me that screenshot the other day of someone's perspective of seeing other guys race prep beforehand, and then that changed it, and then seeing us being the last ones in bed at night. I know a lot of people think this stuff's really easy and whatnot, but it requires a lot of work to be successful. It also requires a village. I mean, again, um, there's a lot that goes into this at this level of racing. I think people think that street mod or grid life is a very easy thing to do, but
No.
I challenge any of you to come in and try. And I can confidently say that because we don't have an unlimited budget for this program, but we have a very skilled tuner that is willing to put in the hours and insight and knowledge into this program. We have you, Dewey, as a driver who, when not on track, is honing your skills on the sim. I have Forklift here that helps me pack, keep my brain straight, and everything that. And it even goes to insights of significant others. Joanna keeps me, my head screwed on straight, make sure I have warm coffee every morning, make sure I'm going to the shop, and then brings me dinner at night. I won't speak too much for Forklift, but his wife Jessie and daughter Caroline are also huge fans of this as well, and they get to see him on all of this. And I'm sure Caroline's hyped to see all of this, and I know if she's listening, she's going to be hyped to hear this. But it's awesome to kind of see them involved as
Yep.
well in kind of something that he's getting to do, where it's not just a normal 9 to 5. And I'm going to give Forklift a huge pat in the back here because I think he was the most unsung hero this season, and I will continue to say this because, man, it is exhausting getting to the track. It is exhausting being at the track, and it is exhausting getting home. And for someone to have someone here to help me load, unload, and pack the trailer, and kind of keep my head on straight here at the shop as well has been huge. So this team is what it is. It's a team of people that really believe in this program. And I mean, we have executive producer Jordan, who does all these podcasts. I consider him part of the team. And then Bailey, who's running his own car, but
Bailey's
I
helped out a
also
ton too.
yeah, I consider him part of the team. And then we have random people that come and visit
Mhm.
at each different race when it comes down to their area, or
And they end up
whatever.
pitching in too. Your friends from New York ended up helping.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's as simple as, hey man, can you cook breakfast this weekend? And we got everything. I just need someone to man the grill.
Yeah.
And so it's not an easy thing to do. And if you had money, maybe it'd make it easier. But being competitive at this class or any of the classes in grid life is not an easy thing to do.
Nope. It takes a village. And again, like Megan even got to make it out to a few races. She at some point, she started getting turned off with this insanity a few years back, and like it was cool to bring her back to a couple of these races and her see like what winning looks like, because she really didn't get to experience any of that. And then I was really hyped, like having Graham at the track with his own car, him messing with his car, I think it was getting him hyped again about this, because I get it. Graham has put a ton of effort into our stuff, But him getting to mess with some of the stuff he's done with our car on his own car and start to experience some of that again, I think brought some of his like joy back to this. So I think we all had a really good time this year. I don't know if you've got something to speak to that, Graham, but I was hyped seeing you back out there again. I was hyped seeing you hyped.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's been a long time coming. I've been very happy to be doing my part from the sidelines and progressing your car and dialing everything in, because I knew that all that would be a good starting point for my car.
Mhm.
Kind of speed that process along. But yeah, it's definitely been a dream. I told Kim about this too. It's really funny. It's like for several years, I would say like the first year that we moved back to Iowa from Chicago, for some reason, like I always have like some things, some like not like a big goal, but some sort of a small goal that's just sort of a dream, just kind of a thing that like if I don't have anything else to think about when I'm going to bed at night, this is what my brain fixates on.
Yeah.
And for years, for 3 or 4 years after we moved back, it was getting the car back together with a sequential gearbox and driving it like that. Part of that came from when I tuned the FT86 Speed Factory car, Jeremy Boysen's track car, with that sequential and got to drive it around at
Mhm.
what's that track over there?
Blackhawk, I think.
Blackhawk, yeah.
Yep.
The first time I drove a sequential, it's like the first time you did. It's like, this is a riot. This is another level. It's just
Your Gran Turismo dreams coming to life.
changes everything. So I was literally dreaming about getting to that point with our car, because that was kind of the one thing, like I told you for a long time, that was going to be enough for me to come back and play in street mod again.
Yep.
I know my car, it would help my car be a bit more competitive with everything else out there at this point. But even if I'm not being super competitive, at least I'm having a ton more fun with it.
Yep.
And it is moving in that competitive direction and whatever. So to get that dream to come to reality and get to actually put it together, get out there with you, get those gearboxes, race the cars together at the same track at the same time was definitely an awesome experience. And I'm looking forward to doing it again next year.
Are you going to make more events next year? Are you going to try
Hopefully.
to? Yep. I know you guys.
Hopefully.
You guys. I understand where your situation was this year.
Yeah, we got a lot of life going on. Our oldest dog Bailey is 17, and she's the sweetest girl on earth, and she's still just the happiest, sweetest dog. So, we're kind of sacrificing some of ourselves to give her the best, remaining
Sure.
weeks, months, days, whatever we have. And that, that makes things a little bit challenging. That was, hard for Kim to come along on the trips, but she did get out for a couple of them. We had the RV issue last year.
Yeah.
We had that
That was brutal.
bullshit going on. So hopefully next year is going to be a lot more manageable, and I will get to some more events. We're going to cage the car. We're going to do fire suppression. I'm starting on the refinements now, so it's ready to rock early season.
Yep. Let's real quick, because we've been on this for a while. Next season, what are some of the basic things we're gonna try to tackle?
Well, so on our car, we discovered how on Nasty, we know the E-gate works.
Yes.
That thing has been
I
phenomenal.
can't wait
So
to run it.
you're gonna love it. It part throttle response, everything. Like anybody that dogged on that for a road car either hasn't truly given it a proper test or didn't understand how to properly tune it. I can understand there were some challenges that I ran into tuning it. It was not super easy, but once I figured it out and put some time into it, it responds as fast or faster than pneumatic gate, but it gives you the ability to have nice control where you just have a fixed position.
Yep.
When you're at part throttle, you don't have to deal with, the wastegate basically, being limited to a minimum boost of whatever the spring pressure is.
Yeah.
You have an infinitely adjustable, gate pressure essentially, which is phenomenal. So yeah, we're going to get that on your car. Hopefully play around with the electronic wastegate side of things, electronic blow off valve, see if we can utilize that for some interesting effect of part throttle. But for us, it's just going to be safety. Motorsports ABS is going in our car. I'm not sure if you're going to be changing ABS, but I'm going to get that Delta ABS
I
in
think
there.
I'm gonna
get that all integrated.
we might let you take a swing at that first. We got ourselves a cute little thing we're gonna try that we had it's a customer of mine who's also kind of a fan and a motorsports nut hook us up with another MK60 unit, but it's been modified. So we might
Yep.
play with that.
Yeah, that's worth a shot. I think that's a very solid way to go. I'm
Yep.
excited for this Delta ABS. It's basically like a tunable Bosch
Yeah,
system.
I'm
is what
hyped to see
what
how
I'm
that
doing.
works out for you. I want you to try that. I think
Yeah.
you're going to be the guinea pig for it.
I'm excited. I'm going to get it all integrated with Motex. You know, I've got now that we've been doing the GT3 cars in iRacing,
Yeah.
and I see all the indicator lights, like when you're triggering ABS, how much you're triggering ABS. I want to put that in our cars.
Okay.
So I'm going to do that for sure. So I'll know if I'm touching ABS or not and how much I'm getting into it.
What I really want is that brake trace so we can then go over data with that. But
Yes, that should be nice. Brake pressures, all that jazz. So yeah, lots of data, lots of lots of dash updating, lots of things like that. But yeah, it's nice to not have to pull the drivetrain out for anything. It's ready to rock.
I think we're going to pull our trans out. So I think in the off season, Dylan's plan is to pull the trans out just to see the wear, just to see how.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you get that email?
Yeah, I'm curious
Yeah,
to see how
so-
your guys' looks inside. You
Yeah.
got a lot of events and a lot more use on yours. I eyeballed mine. I dropped the little oil pan to get all the the crumbs out and everything, and peeked up in
Yeah.
there, and it looked flawless from what I could see. But you only see a couple gears, so curious how
Yeah,
yours
so
will look.
some of the bigger planned items are definitely like the engine's gonna come apart, see what it looks like. So we have a fresh engine for next season. Transmission's gonna come apart, get inspected, just so we don't have any surprises on a very expensive transmission next season. I want to play with carbon fiber. I am dead set on learning to play with carbon fiber. It's something I, as a kind of my skill set as I further my career and the things I do, is I want to start playing with carbon fiber and composites. So if I make a little trinket this winter, I will be more than happy. Or if I get to make like a front splitter or something, I may be over the moon about it. So there's a lot of small things that we've already started discussing with
Mhm.
Boogie to progress the car for next season. I won't go into it too much. Some things I want to keep a secret until we're ready to release them. And I mean, every year we're going to continue to try to get faster. So with that comes a lot more improvements, and that's on and off the car.
Yep. We got a lot we're working on. We're going to be working with some new partners. We have a lot of crazy shits coming, so you're going to want to stay tuned. But we're really hoping to make some refinements. One thing I do want to get hyped though, and we're going to kill it at this, is when we won the championship in 23, I think anybody involved will admit this, that the t-shirt situation was mishandled. We had a lot of fans and a lot of people who are really hyped up about the accomplishment that we did and wanted to support it and purchase a t-shirt for the championship, and it didn't exist. Well, it did exist, and then we sold some, and then they all went away, and then we didn't make any more, and it was a disaster. First off, I would like to apologize for that because it just didn't work the way we wanted to. This year, somebody completely different is handling that, and we got some sick stuff coming. It's coming. We're gonna have some badass shirts. So
I've requested sweatshirts too. I'm a big sweatshirt guy, so I've requested some championship sweatshirts. So that may or may not be in the mix, but I've requested it, and so maybe it'll happen.
It's the design itself is going to be a long sleeve shirt anyway. I don't know if you knew this, but it's going to be a long sleeve t-shirt, and that makes it really easy to make a hoodie.
Well, it would also make it really easy to cut the sleeves off too.
Dude, that's right. You cut them off right there. That's the right way to do it. Like,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Just
No.
sleeves gone. So we can run around next summer with our championship shirt on with Suns Out, Guns Out.
Before we kill it, though, I want Forklift's favorite moment
Yes.
of the whole season.
The whole season. What's Forklift's moment?
From the hot seat of the whole season. I'll give him a minute to gather his thoughts, but
He doesn't get a
favorite
minute.
moment of the whole
You get
season from Forklift's eyes.
5 seconds.
I just want to say thank you for letting me be a part of this program in general. Thank you to my wife Jessie and my daughter Caroline for understanding my late nights here with everybody. Being able to go to Road Atlanta was a dream come true. So that was sick, and seeing FD sneaking down to the media section where I shouldn't have been and got that close to the track was neat. But hands down, having a shitty steak dinner with Bucky Lasek in a castle, that will forever be my favorite moment. I don't care. So, and just being with Nick from Subi Mods, Dylan, you, Dewey, and everybody else, it's just, I've had a great time at the 2 events I went to, but being back here has still just been a fun time watching the roller coaster of everybody's emotions of this, and just being a part's been great. And I appreciate everybody for letting me be here for this.
That's not an individual. Well, I guess getting down in the media pit. I guess that could be your moment. I'll allow it.
No, the moment was a steak dinner with Bucky and a
That's
castle.
fair.
I can't make that up.
No, you can't. That's fair. That was pretty good.
It was really fun. It was really fun to watch, to bring him to Atlanta, because it was his first like big boy event.
And he's just like the whole time.
And of course, being a drifter, yeah, he's big FD guy. So he was like, "Can I go look at him?" I'm like, "Dude, see you later.
Yeah, go have fun. You
Go
know,
have fun." 'Cause it's something that I often forget. Sometimes it's looking at some of these situations, and I'm like,
how about
"That's wild."
when you and I got mooned by Bucky? We both saw Bucky
getting him
Lasek
back.
pass. Wait,
I'm not gonna now.
Gonna
tell
be
him he's
good.
back yet. Dewey knows.
I know.
Forklift knows. I'm getting him back.
It's gonna be good.
Maybe I'll let him announce it.
Yeah, it'll be good. We'll see if he says anything about it or not. And then yeah. No, I think that's it. I think we're gonna call it.
I had fun I brought Steve to Road Atlanta also, and got pictures with Steve and everybody. Steve from Minecraft, so everyone
Yes.
is aware. Yeah, I had fun doing that, and Caroline really enjoyed that.
You took pictures of that thing everywhere.
Yeah.
So
James Dean held it at one point, so that was pretty sick.
yeah. See? I mean, when else are you gonna get to like meet some of your heroes? That's grid life in a nutshell.
Yeah, and again, to you guys, just normal. But like I think I saw Hurt at Atlanta too. I
Yeah.
saw Hurt from across the paddock, and I started pointing at him, "Oh my God, there he is!" And Dylan's like, "Don't do this." And then it was on one of the YouTube videos. You see me in the background just pointing at somebody.
On FD, they're filming it for FD, and
Yeah.
it's like, it's the announcer for FD and Hurt, and Forklift's just standing there, arm out, pointing, like jaw to the floor, looking at me, like, pointing at these. I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yo, cut it out. They're filming."
Just be normal.
And then so I'll have to find the clip. There's a commercial for
Normal.
Formula Drift of him in the background just pointing, and they're doing the interview.
That's amazing. So, all right, guys.
Hell of a season, gentlemen.
Hell of a season. Just, if you are thinking about doing this, understand there's a lot more behind the scenes. At no point was this ever easy. Graham will tell you the same thing. Dylan will obviously tell you the same thing. This is not easy. So
It's super easy. You should come do it, try it, and find out. I'm still learning on a daily basis. I don't really know what I'm doing. But I've
Yeah,
gotten
track
all the way
racing is
here.
very much a fuck around and find out thing, isn't it?
yep. Fuck around a lot and find out
Fuck
even
around
more.
with us and find out
I mean,
not as easy as it looks on the internet. And see, that was the biggest thing today. Like, we're like, what time is it? 6:50. We've been doing this for we've had 3 hours. It took us 3 hours to explain how you got through the season, but how many issues were there? How many problems still? I mean, things were reliable, but really what it came down to was, we figured out the big stuff, but still we had to problem solve. We had to
Yep.
be a good team. We had to work together.
All
we
year.
had to solve problems.
All year.
And that's what it comes down to.
Yep.
dude, Graham's chiming in at like 10 p.m. on the dyno with us.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty sick.
Oh,
Yeah, we did some late night action. That's what it takes.
It is what it is. All right,
Yep.
gentlemen. It's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. We will see you guys next time.
See you later.